Evening all. Warm night. Hello, boys. You all right?
Hello.
Nice choice of picture on the screen there.
Yes, I think we'll do a little tribute in a moment. Is everybody fine on this very, very snowy day in Blighty? The Beast from the East 2 is upon us. Yes, very cold in Yorkshire at the moment. Ian, you all right?
Idea, mate.
Yeah, fine. It's not snowing here, though.
It will be. Cockney, you all right?
Oh, it's fucking humid over here, mate. Oh, cloudy and hot. What a combo. Oh, lovely.
Summer where you are.
Yeah.
Swap shop, you all right?
Yeah, mate. Just peeing down with rain. Bloody cold, though.
It is. You got your mic working now?
Thank God. Yeah, I'm never shoving it in that slot again.
That's
what she said. It's amazing how we had before we went live. Sorry, just as we were going live, we had 2 viewers, and then as soon as it went live, they all went.
They fudged off.
Hang on a minute. I'll switch my TV on and log in, and then you'll have a viewer.
Oh, cheers, mate. That's what Problem Bean does, isn't it? He logs on. So everybody's well. Hello, no viewers in no viewer land. I think we're going to do a few films from 1995 tonight, because me and Cockney were talking about it yesterday on his channel.
Cockney and I. No, you weren't there.
Sorry, Cockney and I on his channel yesterday were discussing 1995 and a few good films, and I thought, well, why not? So there may be some overlap from the cop show we did the other day. So we'll play it by ear with those. As I said, we'll just pay our respects to Christopher Plummer, who died.
Right, and let's slip the dogs of war.
Okay.
Indeed. You're not going to start singing The Sound of Music.
The heroes are alive.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
He's got it handled.
General Chang.
Everybody, General Chang tonight.
Indeed. Yeah. Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Very, very bad Klingon who liked to recite Shakespeare. Digest. Well, I think it was 91.
Beardless. A beardless Klingon going to war. Who ever heard of such a thing?
Ian, was he a good baddie, do you think?
I thought so. I thought the whole film was written with intelligence and directed very well, and it was a detective story first and foremost, and it threw in the old Star Trek stuff with Kirk fighting, and even though he's a man of age, and obviously women fancying him, even though he's a man of age, but still, it was a very good movie
because he's a man of age.
Man of age,
Indeed.
but it was a very good movie. It was very enjoyable, well shot, looked fantastic, and and it was the last out of all of them, and it went out with a bang, and it was it was well worth my time.
I must admit, I do like The Undiscovered Country. Do you think Kirk should have left it there and not appeared on Generations?
No, I think that some people spoil things. Now, Generations was supposed to have Spock and Kirk in it, but Leonard Nimoy decided he didn't want to do it because it was too much of a small part. But, if he stepped back from his ego and did it for the fans, it would have been quite cool. But I didn't like when they killed Kirk off. I thought that was a bad idea. But anyway. I don't mind when William Shatner, does Kirk, because, he's great at it, So, yeah, anytime he does it, I'm there.
thing is, he died and he went out with a whimper.
He did. That's what I'm saying. It was.
No.
I don't understand how you could get away with that script if it, weren't
Yeah.
any of them Star Trek fans when they wrote that. For God's sakes.
Like with Han Solo, if you're going to go out, you want to go out blazing
With a
into
bang.
a hot sun, take
Yeah.
a few enemy ships with you or something, don't you?
Exactly.
What about you, Demon? Were you into Star Trek?
Absolutely love the movies, mate. Yeah. When Star Trek 6 came out, I couldn't wait to go and see it because it was just the whole from 1 to 6. I just loved the look of the updated look from the TV series and the uniforms and the refitted Enterprise and the Excelsior and everything. I was just buzzing for 6 when it came out. I just loved the aesthetic of all the ships and the way everything looked like a submarine almost. That was great. And then when I went into the next generation, it kind of went a bit too futuristic, if you like, with the beige 90s look. But Star Trek 6, mate, wow. God, yeah, it was probably one of the best stories of the entire original cast series. And Chang in it was, he didn't really particularly look like that much of a Klingon.
No.
But Plummer, mate, in anything he does, he's just mind-blowing, and he fits so well. And he could have played any number of characters in any number of situations in any number of species, and he would have been amazing at it. Like the other chap whose name I can't remember, who played
David Warner.
Yes, David Warner. Oh God, another incredible actor in it.
Yeah.
And Plummer as Chang was just the greatest villain to finish off, I think, that original trilogy, that original series run with. And he was just so perfectly Klingon in every essence. Just so he could be a genuinely nice guy, but he was just a warlord deep down, just like a true Klingon. Not necessarily a bad guy, but just a Klingon, and they just live for conflict and war and fighting, and that's what they live for, and that's what's great to them, and the Federation recognized that eventually, but this is kind of the end of the point when they realize that Klingons aren't necessarily bad people and evil, they're kind of just a different way of life. And Chang was kind of one of the last original warlords that were against Kirk and the Federation and that kind of mentality, and it was perfectly put on screen. I think it was great. It was so great.
Because the film was obviously it was kind of based on the Berlin Wall coming down, wasn't it? The kind of
It was but basically it's got intelligence through the script, and that's what today's Star Trek doesn't have. And what's interesting about the Star Trek movies with the original cast is they were never given a huge budget. They were given a modest budget. That's why they reuse sets from the TV show and stuff like that. And you could tell when you watch it, but it still doesn't spoil your enjoyment. And because they do it so well, as far as apart from Star Trek 5, of course. That was terrible.
That's another show in itself, yes.
But
apparently Star Trek 6 was kind of rushed through from initial concept to when it was finished. It was kind of a little bit, it went through quicker than your normal kind of production times. But yeah, can you believe 30 years this year? Can you believe it?
What, this film?
Yeah, 1991.
God, no,
Wow.
really?
Damn.
Because I remember going to see it because I was still at uni.
The thing is, though, it just goes to show, how Star Trek has literally fallen off its pedestal. If you look at the latest stuff today and you look at that,
Such a shame.
it is a real shame. I tell you, it's a real shame.
Because apparently old people are not allowed to enjoy their franchises anymore. We're not allowed to watch them. It's not aimed at us anymore.
No having fun.
No having fun, yeah.
But anyway, so God rest his soul, Christopher Plummer, great actor, Sound of Music, General Chang in Star Trek.
Rest in peace.
He was in Pink Panther films as well, wasn't he? I think one of them. Return of the Pink Panther.
Return of the Pink Jedi.
I think.
Right. Okay. So yes, what we'll do is, so as I said, what we'll do is we'll just go through a few films from '95. as I said, if we've covered them the other day, we'll just kind of
We'll cover them again.
we'll
More
we'll play it
detail.
by ear. We'll play it by ear if we want to kind of go quickly or spend time. So we'll just play it by ear. Yes.
But there's some classics in there. Some of the best and worst films ever made, in my opinion, came out in '95.
7.
7.
Yeah, we
On the
talked
list
about
this
that
time.
the other day. It's really good. As
It
I
was
was saying,
it was an honourable mention last time, wasn't it? So it's on
Yeah.
the list.
Deleted
7 is
scenes
a
are
great
canon.
movie.
That's
What's
my
that?
takeaway from 7 now. Deleted scenes are canon. Get the Blu-ray or DVD, watch the deleted scenes, and blow your own mind with how different the whole thing is. Morgan Freeman, spoiler alert, comes out of retirement at the end. Bollocks to this, the mean streets need me.
Gluttony,
you know-
greed, sloth, envy, wraith, pride, lust.
And the other
There
one.
are a couple of things that I guess I learned from the making of. One is that Brad Pitt broke his hand quite early in the production.
Oh, yeah.
So so when you first see him, you notice that his jacket is covering his wrist on his right hand a lot. So that's where he's got the cast on his hand.
They worked it into the story, is that
They
correct?
did, yeah, they did when he was chasing him, and then obviously he had a cast in his hand, and they worked that into the story. Yeah, it's true.
Who was it directed by? David
Fincher.
Fincher,
Right.
really good director. Morgan Freeman. I don't know the things about Morgan Freeman. Originally, the character in the script was white, and they cast Morgan Freeman.
Pre-woke days.
No. It was right to cast Morgan Freeman because the actual writer himself said that he surpassed everything that he thought about that character
Right.
in the film. So Morgan Freeman's just a class actor. You know, he
was
makes
just perfect
everything
for
effortless.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
What's the plot? What's the plot about?
There's a
To
baddie.
my shame, I've not seen it.
Have you not seen 7?
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Wow, the sweet irony.
I think I've
Oh.
probably seen parts of it when it's been on TV, but
You've seen
if
2.
I've seen it, I can't remember seeing it.
It's a brilliant
Oh,
movie.
you've definitely not seen it. It's one that sticks in the mind.
I would probably need to apologize everybody in viewerland. I am a knobhead for not
I
watching
think
it. But
one of the best thrillers ever made. One of the best movies, period, in my opinion. Just very, very strong.
I will add that to the homework list. Demon, have you
top of the
seen it?
list.
I've not, mate. No, still.
You've not seen-
Oh, Mega Geek. We're on the wrong show here.
I really do, guys. I recommend it if you ever get a chance to see it. I recommend it. It is a really good thriller, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the twist at the ending's terrific. So,
Oh, what a twist. Oh,
Yeah.
we can't spoil it now, can we? What's in the
No.
box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Did
So,
you
it
did you see it at the
wasn't Jerry
cinema?
Seinfeld.
Ian?
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema. In fact, I saw the version that was that they basically did this technique on the film, which is monotone. They made the color all sepia tone, but when you see the version on TV, they correct it a little, so you don't see it fully the way David Fincher wanted you to see it. The only way you could have seen it that way is to watch it in the cinema. So when they put it on DVD and they put it on TV, they thought that the audience wouldn't like that color, so they kind of
I
colorized
think it was a mistake. Did they?
Yeah,
I hope they
exactly.
corrected it for the Blu-ray, or they do for the 4K.
I don't know. To tell you the truth, I haven't got the Blu-ray. I've only got the DVD, but I should.
Tell you what,
should buy it.
if you do watch it on DVD, my Cockney Scott's recommendation: just get a tea bag, smear it on your TV, and then you can watch it in the way the director intended.
Yeah. But it is truly a great piece of filmmaking. And it's been imitated quite a lot. That's how good it is. And you'd never think that that the people had such a hard time directing this movie because of budgetary constraints
All right, okay.
and time and stuff like that. But when you look at the movie, you see none of that. All you see is the genius that is David Fincher. So
I mean, just from the outset,
Chunky Funky Monkey's not seen it either.
but he knows the
Who's in there?
twist.
Yeah. I think we need to put
he
that to
knows-
the homework list swap shop, don't you?
Top of the homework list for you boys.
Oh, I'll have to now. Yeah, I mean, I think it's all really familiar. So I may have seen it a long, long, long time ago, and it kind of sort of fell to the back of my memory. But or maybe I've just seen half of it. I don't know, but I'll have to rewatch it.
The title sequence alone is always like a music
I think if
video.
I remember, I was living with the ex-girlfriend in Leeds, and she was watching it, and I kind of walked into it halfway, and then didn't kind of pay much attention to it. I think.
Because when did it come out? I think it was, because depending on when it came out, I was either seeing Rachel, but then October,
95.
mate. Yeah, no, which month in the 95? Yeah, but I was going out with Rachel in 95, but then in October I met Nicola. So I'm trying to, since you're linking it into girlfriend memories, I'm trying to, because it would have been more of a Nicola film. Maybe it broke up Rachel and me. Maybe it's a film that. Anyway. Hello to Rachel if you're out there, and Nicola. Missed out there, didn't you?
But it is a good cop movie because again, it has some of the tropes of cop movies. It has the world weary cop that's seen everything, which is Morgan Freeman's character, and then it has the young whippersnapper, which is a bit of a rookie Brad Pitt. So you get a lot of that in cop movies, but it's I think it's one of the first horror cop films to be made. I think probably somebody will probably correct me.
Is that a new genre then, horror cop?
I think it started with Seven, but then again, the Korean people probably made films like this before this. Who knows? I don't know.
So is it kind of a horror film then?
Yeah, it is. It's a cop horror film. That's what it is.
Right.
So
I mean, I'd still class it as a thriller because I specifically don't like the horror genre, but I love Seven, so they must have just kept it on the right side. I mean, it's definitely horrific. It's got some. Yeah. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's not a date movie. It's not a first date movie, and don't watch it eating your dinner. That's all I'll say.
The reason why I say it's a cop horror film because they do have some horrific moments in the film. What the serial killer does to people. It's horrific, but. That's what I'm saying. So it is a cross between a horror and a cop movie, which is quite unique.
Sloth's my favourite one, and he's still got hell to look forward to.
Yeah, but you should you should watch it. It's a really great movie.
If you haven't seen Seven, you don't like cop films.
Or
from 1995. It's already the winner. So far, it's the winner of 95.
Cockney, you'd give it a big thumbs up then, yes?
Yep, I'd give it 6.9 out of 6.5.
Wow. And Ian, big thumbs up, yeah?
Yeah, big thumbs up. I recommend it. If you guys, seriously, you've got to watch this film before you die.
Right, while you die. That's the films to watch while you're dying. Seven.
So, as a director of films yourself, was it nicely shot and
Well, when I was making my own cop movie, I watched a lot of cop movies to try and get the tropes right. And that's one thing that I've noticed, that in cop movies, they always have someone that knows a lot and someone that doesn't. And usually it's the partner that doesn't. And other things like the screaming black boss. But in this one, they didn't have a screaming black boss. They had a screaming white boss in this one. I guess if they
subverted the expectations didn't they?
And it was the guy
stereotype right around.
And it was the guy from Stanley Kubrick's war film. What was that film called, Cockney? The one he made here?
Private Ryan. No.
Full Metal Jacket.
It was
weren't we?
We were talking about that today, weren't we, Cockney?
It was a general from Full Metal Jacket that played the boss in this
what's his face? We're in for the win. That one.
Yeah.
You're a Joker.
Yeah.
That guy. Very memorable.
So it's him, yeah. I can't remember, but he's really good in the film. Really, really restrained, and so especially the stuff he says at the ending as well. So to Morgan Freeman. But yeah, I mean, it's a really clever thriller, stroke horror, stroke cop movie. Yep. So there you go.
Right. So from the people who have seen it in the chat here, definite thumbs up. Recommended. Yep. A must view.
A must view.
Right. Okay.
See it before you die.
See it while you die.
I'll do my best. Swap Shop. Are you listening?
Although unlike The Ring, you won't die because you see it.
Exactly.
Nice. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You might get a slight heart attack, but
Hopefully the technology won't let me down. Bear with me, boys.
Here we go. Porn tab. Ah, another classic. Yes.
That's a strange poster, isn't it? I've never seen this poster before on 12 Monkeys.
It's
some of the
I don't know.
European
Maybe
posters.
yeah. I just kind of Googled it and just came up with the
I tell you
Wow.
what, for any film, maybe I'm biased. Always check out the Polish poster for any film. They always just go that extra level of
on
surrealism. There's
20
some
minutes.
intangible weirdness about. I just found the one for Terminator. I think it's called Electronic Killer. But so the more east you go in Europe, Slavko might, if he was here, he could bear me out. But yeah, Eastern European versions
he's not
of
here tonight.
posters. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Must be busy working. Must be laying that cable. But no, 12 Monkeys, as discussed, but it bears repeating because as the person that humbly declares,
Brad Pitt again.
I've Brad Pitt again, busy that year. I've written the essential guide to time travel films. When you travel back in time in a fictional context, one of only 3 things will happen, and my favourite and least common option is the one taken by 12 Monkeys. There's only one timeline, time travel, no parallel universes. You go back in time, you've gone back in time, you've already done it. So, and they get paradoxes from that. It's so clever. There's a twist in hand where they imply a twist and they pull back, and it's not that twist. It's almost like the writer going, I could have done that, but I didn't. I mean, you have to see it to understand. But basically, well, shall I go there with the? I've gone right in.
I was just
haven't
going to say, just here you go, mate. Have a look in the chat.
Yay, Yakshamash!
Hello, Squad. Hello, mate.
I don't know if it'll make sense, but basically, for you writers out there or aficionados of films, the paradox that happens, like in Marty McFly in Back to the Future, if you've only got one universe, although Back to the Future they go for all 3 options, the paradox is because you've already gone back, you may actually be the cause of whatever it is you're trying to prevent. So in 12 Monkeys, it's a really wacky idea. Apart from the time travel, they've got this really crazy idea that there's this worldwide virus that has gone all around the planet being spread via airplane travel. Completely implausible. I can believe it. And it's wiped out
Science
humanity.
fiction, mate.
Yeah, I thought, what a mad idea. A virus wiping out humanity.
Jesus.
But right from the beginning, they say, you're going to go back in time, but you can't prevent the virus because it's already happened. So they know there's only one singular timeline. And I love that. The only other film I can think of that's done that is La Jetée, which, of course, is the film that 12 Monkeys is based on.
Yeah, it's based on that. Yeah.
Matt, what do you think? Have you seen it?
I have. I saw it at the cinema. I was gripped by it all the way through, but it wasn't quite the film I was expecting it to be. But I really did enjoy it.
Why is that then?
I don't know. I thought the trailer kind of made me think one thing about it, and then when I saw the actual film itself, I thought that felt really low budget. Not in a bad way, but it felt like I was used to time travel movies being quite sort of, Back to the Future, like, with loads of effects going on and loads of flashing through time and all this sort of electric stuff everywhere, and
blue lasers.
People being erased and stuff, and there was none of that at all. It was very grounded. Almost
pretty low key in that sense, hey?
Yeah, and it was very just like when he goes through time, he sort of crawls through a tube or something, doesn't he? As far as I remember, it was a long time ago now, and it's kind of all these weird sort of Terry Gilliam film effects on the screen of like the film being rewound and stuff, and then like film burning out on screen, and it's really bizarre when they show him actually going through time. Not the usual kind of thing at all. And then when he does end up back in time, you're not even sure he is back in time to begin with. You're as almost as disorientated as he is.
Exactly that. Yes, exactly that. And that's what I love about it, because that's another trope they play with, is you're not sure through about a good 2/3 of the film whether it's just a psychotic delusion that he's suffering. And they do thankfully actually answer it in the film, but it's a nice kind of leads you up one garden path and then spoiler alert, pulls the rug out your feet. It is happening.
Yeah, that's right. You don't know whether he is actually crazy or not, which obviously is a trope of a lot of movies, but it's necessary in the sense of this one, because you're doubting what's going on the entire time. You're doubting the character. You're doubting this whole conspiracy that's going on. And it plays with your mind. And it's back then that was a new concept completely.
Is that the Willis character?
Yeah, that's right. I can't remember his name, but yeah, you're right.
Cole.
That's it.
Cole.
Yeah,
that's the fella.
Ian, what do you think?
I did like it, and I do agree with Swap Shop Swap Shop. That you know,
Swap shop for the win.
it gave a different impression on the trailer, and then when you went to see the film, it was something else. But I wasn't surprised really, because Terry Gilliam, it was, you know, he always gives you something that you don't expect, and it's not a roundhead Ryan expectation, if you know what I mean. It's something that's quite
Subverts
clever.
in a good way. Yes,
Yeah,
I
it does.
totally second that.
Yeah, and so
This is how to subvert expectations, roundhead.
yeah, so but he, you know, it's very enjoyable, and Bruce Willis gives a fantastic performance, as well as Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And it does make you think at the ending, and you know, it's just a really solid, weird movie as far as I'm concerned.
Totally play with your mind. And yeah, with the acting, I seem to remember reading an interview where Terry Gilliam specifically said to Bruce Willis, "Well, I have none of your cutesy smirks and winks and all the normal bollocks that you do. You got to do proper acting." So he's very much stretching
Was that when he
himself,
cared?
Mr. Willis. There, back when before he started
When he
phoning
cared.
it in.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, back then Bruce Willis was serious about being a serious actor, because he came from comedy originally,
Yeah,
Moonlighting,
Moonlighting.
then
Yeah.
he was thrust
Great
into the
series.
world of action. And so when you get to that point
Die
where
Hard.
you know, all they offer you is action films, you want to do something that's slightly different, and he chose this film to do,
Yeah.
because it was very different. It wasn't him running around with a gun shooting people, and so that's what he chose. And I actually think this is one of his, you know, one of his best performances as far as
Die Hard with a Vengeance was the same year as this, but I thought I'd leave it out.
Yeah, wise choice. This is definitely, I think, and say for Brad Pitt, I think, I mean,
2 good films in a year.
yeah, he did very well, very well. And I still
Igor
think of
Boyce,
his speech.
in the chat.
Kieselowski's Pretend Best Friends.
Sklavko
never
says,
did.
did you see 12 Monkeys TV series?
Yeah, but it was rubbish. Seriously, it was the guy. He was the actor that was in another show, and it was all right. It was okay. I couldn't watch it. But there you go. It's just me.
You much
And there was
prefer
even
the original.
a nice little coincidence that happened, because without giving too much away, there's one bit where Bruce Willis's character Cole and Madeline Stowe's character Dr. Ferrara, they're in disguise, and she's in a blonde wig, and they're watching the what now?
Was that in the
Dr.
airport?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was approaching that bit, but basically when she's got the blonde wig on, and apparently, I've forgotten that. There's some coincidence, but it happened in real life. Oh, look up 12 Monkeys coincidence, Madeline Stowe blonde wig. I forget the specifics, but
I think that was when he was at the airport and he sees himself.
And that's that. Without giving away, that's the twist. But just anyone that hasn't seen it, I recommend it. Anyone that has seen it, I recommend you watch it again. Definitely a good mind scrambler.
Madeline Stowe was everywhere at that moment in time. She
was
was.
gonna say that.
She was lovely.
Yeah, she was in.
Last Mohicans as well.
Was it
She
Revenge?
was in that.
Yeah.
Was it
She
Revenge?
was in Revenge. She
That's a
was
good
in
film, is that?
Stakeout. She was, you know, she was like the go-to romantic, gorgeous, you know, dark-haired woman, wasn't she?
Hot brunette
She
of
was.
the year.
Yeah, she's very cute as well. You know, it's really
Indeed.
strange. She had a great body, but she had a really cute face, as far as I was concerned. But yeah, it's a great act. Well, I wonder what happened to her. You know,
I think
Don't
probably
see her much.
age.
Yeah, maybe.
Caught
Who
up on
knows?
You know what it's
you
like.
hit 29. No more
Yeah,
roles for
that's
you.
it.
Just
You're
a
out.
weird auntie.
Yeah, you're aged out Hollywood then. You know, they don't want to know, do they?
Hollywood.
Hit
Get
the wall,
out.
mate.
Yeah.
So, gents, we give it a thumbs up, yes?
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, it's a good
12 out,
movie.
12 out of 11.
Right, so recommended to everybody. Okay, right.
You picked 2 winners there. Probably the 2 best films of a definitely strong year.
I'm sure my luck will run out. Bear with me.
Oh, it's got the worst film of all time in here coming up, so don't worry.
Apollo
There you go.
13.
Got a lot of numbers. All films with numbers, isn't it?
Well,
12, 13, 7.
I was disappointed with this movie. I found this movie slow and quite frankly dull. Even though we had, you know, some really great hitters in there like Tom Hanks and Gary Sinise and stuff like that. But I found it very. I don't know. I thought it was okay. It should have been 10 times better than just okay, in my opinion. You know, the effects were good and the acting was good, but it was just.
Well, maybe the source material made that it really couldn't be like a big actioner. Maybe it was.
Well, it wasn't.
Mustard or
Do you know-
ketchup? Mayonnaise? The source
No,
material.
look, I'm not.
Hollandaise.
I wasn't look. I'm not.
Hollandaise.
I wasn't looking for action in Apollo 13. I was just looking for something that was interesting. But I wasn't. I wasn't invested in any of these characters when I saw this film. You know, I don't know why, but that's just me. You know.
Ed
Based on a
Harris
true
was good. He's
story.
always good.
Yeah. I don't know. It just this is the thing now. I think it's because of today. Now, when they have big stars in films that are, in films based on true life stuff, you just can't. When I was watching Apollo 13, I was like, "That's Tom Hanks." It's it's Tom Hanks. It's Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. It wasn't. I don't
Kevin
know.
Bacon.
Yeah, and that's Kevin Bacon. Footloose. I just couldn't take
Bill
it.
Paxton.
Exactly.
Game over, man.
Yeah,
Game over.
I couldn't. I don't know. I can't. I couldn't connect to any of them because they were too well known. But it was all right.
Do you think kind of maybe having two bigger stars can go against the film?
Yes.
Or
I guess,
having too many on the payroll, as it were, on one cast.
I
Even
understand.
one.
But we all understand why they do that. It's because the more stars they have in the film, the more countries they can sell the film to, and that's what it's all about: getting your money back, getting the investors' money back. I understand that completely, but as a film,
Creatively,
as a
not
film
so
on
much.
the whole, creatively, as Cockney Spock says, it was just okay. It didn't blow my mind.
Swap shop.
Saw it in the cinema, really enjoyed it at the time because I didn't know that much about the story, so I was kind of gripped by it. But like you say, your sense of belief in the story is taken away by well-known names and well-known faces on screen. And I think this is why whenever I see a movie, say a new Star Wars movie, and they announce the casting, I'm always sort of thinking, are they too well-known? Are they too well-known? You want it to be believable to be in this fantasy escapism. You don't want it. You don't want
It's
to
a distraction, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to sit there thinking, "Oh, he was good in that other film for the entire movie." You want to be want to be there in the moment. You don't want to be taken out of it by something else they've done at some point, or say, if we had a Star Trek actor in it, it wouldn't work because we'd be constantly thinking like, "Oh, the Enterprise is going to show up any minute." Yeah, so you've got to be very careful about casting, and I think that that did hinder this movie. But like a lot of Ron Howard movies, it's kind of a very safe movie.
It was well put together.
Yeah, very well made, but not really cutting edge.
Like a cheese sandwich, basically.
Yeah,
no sauce.
Without the pickle. Yeah,
exactly. No pickle in Apollo 13.
You see, that's the thing. You see, I think no disrespect to Ron Howard.
Boring Howard.
I basically, when actors become directors, they always seem to concentrate on the performance, and they don't realize that you have to concentrate on performance and as well as camera work, as well as everything else. But people like Clint Eastwood and Ron Howard, they seem to, because they've been actors, they seem to concentrate more on the performance, and that's all well and good. But a film is more than just performance, if you know what I mean. If it was another director directing this, maybe it would have been far more interesting.
I must say, even I've got a Ron Howard anecdote, and even that's boring. I was playing golf once. I mean, I'm not a golfer. It was a corporate holiday.
The story.
Yeah, there was, and I was so shy. I was completely out of my depth. Such an absolutely piss poor golfer, because I don't golf, because I think it's a good walk spoiled. That we had to let Ron Howard. We had to let Ron Howard play through, and we went, hi, and he went hi. And that's it. I thought, is that it? I mean, you're not doing, you should be doing snorting coke off a hooker's tits or something. But no, he just went. He just waved politely.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said. And so he just and so we let him play through, and he did a good round. I mean, couldn't even get a good anecdote off him.
My thoughts on this film is I like space films, and I'm into all this kind of Apollo stuff.
Could have done with a Klingon or Romulan warbirds showing up.
Yeah, a few blue lasers. If it's on TV, some films, if it's on TV, I'll stop and watch. Whereas this, I enjoyed it when it was out. I've probably seen it once after, but I wouldn't kind of go out of my way or sit down if it was on TV and watch the rest of it. It's okay, but
I've never seen it.
I don't know. I just think that Ron Howard is just a bland director. I remember seeing this. They sometimes have adverts on YouTube, and where they some famous star or some famous director would teach you how to direct or whatever. And they had one with Ron Howard, and he was with this cameraman, and he was going, "This is the master," and then he goes, "What's more interesting here is this shot over here." And I was thinking to myself, "Well, I've seen your films, mate. Even the ones based on those novels where that guy that what is it, archaeologist is running around chasing things with it was the Da Vinci Code, and the direction was really dull in those films.
I've never seen any of them.
I'm never going to listen. I'm never going to take a lesson from Ron Howard. Do you know what I mean? But then again, that's me. Yeah, I'm a bit cruel saying that, but I honestly believe that his direction is nothing to write home about. I get nothing from his direction. All I get is performance.
Solo lost money.
Yeah,
Solo lost money.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's a big difference between his direction and say someone like Richard Donner, Spielberg, or even Marty Scorsese's direction. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yes.
They just pour out of the frame.
What the hell?
I don't know what that is. What is
Sorry, I just had a backdraft.
That film
goodness.
too.
I thought that was Ron Howard hacking in. I am not boring.
I thought that was my computer
direction.
finally giving up the ghost.
Buy a new computer for Brown, everyone. Come on, get the money coming in.
My computer's not handling it.
I don't rate him as a director, unfortunately, but that's just me, right? I'm sure a lot of people think he's great.
Would you say he's a safe director, but he's not inspiring really?
Put it this way, Brown. Put it this way, Brown. You'd never get him to direct an Alien movie, would you?
No, because it'll be boring and dull. It just will be.
Or a
burst
Star
out your
Wars
chest.
movie.
It would just come out your top pocket. Hello, I'll be your alien today. I am dangerous.
Wait. So what we're saying then? Are we saying it's
just okay? Yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Cheese
It's okay.
sandwich. I give it I can't even be bothered out of 13.
Yeah.
I can't even be bothered to think of a number.
Cruel
Meh
Birab
out of
in the
13.
chat. Yes, mate, it did lose money. Yes. Hail, by the way.
It lost my money.
Right, so average.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's average. It's an average film.
Sorry, Richie Cunningham.
Bad
Did
boys.
we did an honourable one the other day with this, but I thought,
Yeah.
Tia Leone.
Swap Shop, do you want to start off?
Oh, yeah, I've seen this once. It was a long time ago. It was on video, and I barely remember anything about it other than Martin Lawrence shouting a lot and a rather lovely-looking Asian lady in the bank getting held hostage. Apart from that, I don't really remember much.
Oh, yeah, it's David
was she
Duchovny's missus, isn't it?
Was
she
it?
Russian?
Oh, no, she was. I'm not talking about this woman, but she was.
Tia,
David...
yeah.
What can't remember her name now. What was her name?
Tia
Spot me.
Leone.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Tia Leone. Nice cup of tea as well.
She was like in a few some kind of TV series where she was this redhead supermodel or something, married to this ordinary schmuck, and they tried to make this big deal about an ordinary schmuck can be married to a supermodel. That was the whole deal of this comedy. It was just ridiculous, but she seemed to be sort of everywhere at that point because of this movie. And then
What an implausible idea.
Directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah, and then she was in what was it?
I Am That Schmuck.
Deep Impact. She was in as well, wasn't she?
Ooh.
Yeah. She was.
Which I quite enjoyed that movie. I hated Armageddon, but I love Deep Impact. But that's all I remember about
Armageddon.
Yeah, so but that's all I remember about this film. But obviously, I should go back and watch it because everyone loves it, don't they?
Cruel Birab with the ultimate sum up. Bad Boys, good film. Boom, done.
Mike
I
got
like that.
douche. Have that.
Yeah, Bad Boys, good film.
There's the movie poster quote there.
I enjoyed Bad Boys the first time I saw it. Can't watch it now, knowing what Smith has become. Oh, retrospectively ruin it with his future acting choices.
Oh dear. Ian,
Oh dear.
what do you think?
When I first saw it, I found it. It was okay. I think it was a very unfocused movie. They threw everything in there but the kitchen sink, hoping it would stick, and most of it sticks, but it just didn't feel like it had a plan, if you know what I mean. Like, for instance,
Tell us you have a plan.
Okay, right. So, for instance, just to explain what I mean, the Martin Lawrence's character, right? The humor was very broad, and 9 times out of 10 for me, it didn't work. Yeah, they were too busy shouting at each other and stuff, and Will Smith was quite funny in it, and and the whole stupid idea that the female character thought he was Will Smith, and Will Smith had to pretend to be him and go to his house and look after his wife. And
Right.
I just thought all that was really unnecessary. I just thought if you took that out, it wouldn't have made any difference to the action. It's an action film. They should have focused on that, but they were trying to make those two boys funnier than they really are. But then again, maybe it's an American humor that I just don't get. The direction was fine.
That's
Unfortunately,
Michael Bay, isn't it?
they did too many cuts that you couldn't appreciate the action.
Oh,
Jump
just like that Transformers movie, that bugged the hell out of me. That did, it's like, come on, with basic direction here, pull back, let the audience see the action, make defined shapes on screen, simple images, colors, etc., and you know things have to be abstract for you to work out what's going on. And this film, like all Michael Bay films, it's bewilderment. He just shoves everything in your face and expects you to understand it.
But that's the thing. He basically directed it like it was an MTV commercial, MTV video, and I think that was what's happening at the time. So, and he does have a style of his own, I guess. It's not a very good style, but it is a style.
If Ron Howard's a cheese sandwich without the pickle, then Michael Bay's like I don't know, fruit salad in a liquidizer with ketchup, chucking it at you. Here you go, colours, web.
Was there kind of? Sorry, man. Was there kind of lots of tits and ass humour that Michael Bay does?
No. I mean, it's obvious that Michael Bay was obviously he believes sex sells, and I actually believe sex sells as well. And he obviously got this girl in Tia because she's gorgeous, and she is gorgeous. And there was some shots where you would never get away with it today, where she's lying on the bed with her legs up and stuff. And I remember those shots. Because in the cinema, I was thinking, she's lovely. It's the same shot with, what's her name? Megan Fox opening the bonnet of the car. Yeah. Everybody thinks now that's very sexist. But when I saw it, I thought, she's gorgeous, And that was his thing, wasn't it? And I remember reading about this, that the budget, they ran out of money halfway through. And I think he gave some of his own money. Put some of his own money into it, I think, towards the ending for the climax, and the rest is history because it did do very well at the box office. So
it was a good investment for him.
Yeah, it is pretty much the quintessential cop buddy car chase film, isn't it? Pretty much.
More or less, but it goes into stupid areas, as I said, with this idea that he had to pretend who Will Smith's character, and Will Smith had to pretend to be, and it just didn't. Why have that?
Pointless.
It was unnecessary, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
exactly. Face off
also,
without the face off.
Yeah, and also the action was fine, but he used a lot of slow motion stuff, and and it just, if he shot it like Walter Hill shoots action, it would have been a better movie in my opinion. But he was trying to be too stylish.
Walter Hill, he did Streets of Fire, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
48.
See, that was
48 hours as well.
Better film.
48 hours. Yep.
Great film.
Yeah.
So candy for the eyes.
Yeah.
Did anybody see the sequel?
Yeah, I saw all of them.
Imaginally titled Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, but all of them are basically the same. They're all the same, and it's not like it's evolved into something else. It didn't. Even the last one didn't. It was the same stupid humor. It was the same. Even though Martin Lawrence looked like he ballooned out, and Will Smith
should have got him on a diet before.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, it's the same jokes. He's obviously the cool one. Will Smith's the cool one, and Martin Lawrence is the, I don't know, I guess the not cool one. but it's just, it is what it is.
I'm going off it. It's getting too much airtime.
Yeah, apparently it was just, it's not, chat says, it's not deep by any means, but just a fun, turn your brain off actioner.
Yeah, to be fair, actually, that is a fair point by the hunky, chunky, funky monkey.
Hail, mate.
Say that. But I think a cornerstone of criticism is you can't criticize a film, comedy, for something that it's not trying to do. So it's not claiming to be a deep meditation on police business or whatever. So to be fair, in that sense, 20 out of 10, a million out of 10
on 44 minutes.
But Cockney, you can criticize it for trying to be that, but not achieving its goal, which is what I'm doing.
It set a low bar and it achieved it. Well done, you set a low bar. Well done, Michael Bay.
Right then, so what we're saying? Are we saying it was
okay.
it was okay
Yeah,
for a
I
turn
thought
your
it was okay.
brains off?
Yeah, it was all right.
Pair of
It
tits
did
out
do
of
the
10.
job. Oh,
Speaking of which,
Jesus.
here we go,
Oh,
even worse. Oh,
Oh,
God.
I remember we'd just come back from Glastonbury off our tits and we went to watch this.
Tit segue on 44:35.
Backwards, and you had this wonderful Batman Returns and Batman, and it was gothic and it was dark, and then you get to see this and suddenly you're back in the 60s with the stupid humor and the it was just, it's a shame because they had a
No
really good
Michael
cast.
Keaton either.
Although Val Kilmer looked great in the costume, he's probably one of the best looking Batmans ever on screen, and his suit was fantastic.
There've been so many. Oh, that's the one with the. Oh no, it was George Clooney that had the nipple clamps, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I mean, it was an okay movie. It just wasn't great, and as I said, it's a shame they went backwards instead of trying
Forward.
to. But then again, the studio really hated what Burton did because they couldn't sell the toys because it was so dark. I mean, the Penguin was spitting green stuff out of his mouth, for God's sakes, in the last one. So that's why they took Burton off it. They wanted more merchandise to be sold.
Was that a mistake?
Merchandising.
Yeah, that's
Was
the
that a
truth.
mistake
They
then?
took him off. They took him off because they weren't selling the merchandise. Plus the fact, but they should never have got a gay director to direct this film because, as you can tell, all the stuff he put in it, like bat nipples and all that shit. You know what I mean? He was kind of.
Was it something to do with Akiva Goldsman as well? Isn't it?
I don't know. Was it?
Did he? I think he
That
introduced the
explains
bat
it.
nipples. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I don't know.
Because he's one of the gang of four on
Star Trek
Discovery,
hack.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Star Hack.
But I mean, it was enjoyable to a point, but as I said, it went backwards. It just went backwards with the comic book stuff, and it was literally destroying any comic book stuff that was coming after it. Do you know what I mean? Because of it. So
here you go, guys. Do you want to read that? Two-Face and Riddler were the same character, and both were trying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Both were trying to be the Joker rather than what they should have been. Well, there you go.
It was just, we're insane and we're going to cackle maniacally. That was their shtick, wasn't it?
Every time Tommy Lee Jones was on, he kept going all the time. It's like, well, what?
Shaking his
why
head,
are you laughing? To be a serious criminal.
Carey was
man,
good though. To be fair,
Laughing
I
all
thought
the way
Carey
to the
was
bank.
good.
Yeah, he was, but
Jim Carrey was being Jim Carrey, isn't he? Oh, look at me, I'm
Yeah,
wacky.
easy.
Way.
And then you've got, you've got Robin in it, and you shouldn't really have him in it at all because the idea of Robin and Batman doesn't really bode well today, does it? Let's face it.
This is my
my ward. Yeah.
Course Batman. Whatever.
Yeah, and Nicole Kidman was gorgeous. She looked gorgeous in this film.
She was.
Yeah, I thought she was. What was her name? Chase Manhattan? Chase something?
That's a bank.
Something like
I
that.
know. What's her name in this film? Chase something, wasn't it?
Chase
Meridian. That was her.
Yes.
Chase Meridian. Yeah. And
So
what a
what I'm
wonderful
saying is
pursuit she is.
That was
So
the
Jim Carrey
beginning
said.
of the slide for Batman.
It was, and I don't understand how studios and let's not say studios. I don't understand how someone ahead of studios can make a decision like this. Only someone that knows nothing about comic books can make this decision. Just goes to show.
Cheese on, to continue the food metaphor, it's cheese on toast with some fruit bits in it and some candy. Just doesn't work. Vomit it.
Why did Keaton see the writing on the wall? Or
because Keaton said no, he didn't want to do it because he believed in what Tim Burton was doing.
Right.
And so when Tim Burton left, he decided that he wasn't going to do it. And then they were the huge search for Batman, and Val Kilmer was available, and they got Val Kilmer. But Val Kilmer at the time, he was ripped, wasn't he? He really, he looked, and now he's a,
he's very portly.
Yeah. He's still a good actor though. Val Kilmer, and also in Tombstone, he lost a crap load of weight to be played Doc Holliday, and he was really good. He was one of the best things about that film, and he did that after Batman Forever. Do you know what I mean? So When he was portly, he lost all that weight, didn't he? So
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
he's
we
a good
saw him
actor.
saw him in The Doors, and wow, what a performance!
Yes.
You believe that is Morrison on screen, don't you?
Definitely. You know, it's a shame, as I said, you know, that the production value in this film was really good. It's a shame that they went down this road of I
Was
don't
it
know,
Joel
stupid.
Schumacher was the
Yeah.
director? Yeah.
Everybody stand clear, action. Him, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know he was gay until you said that. I had no
I mean,
idea.
can't you tell?
Well, I mean, thinking back now, retrospectively, like, oh yeah, but yeah, it was just all colours and loads of campness on screen, wasn't it?
It was. That's what I'm saying. You know, who you are is what's reflected on screen. Especially if you're an artist. If you paint something, it's usually connected with you somehow. If you create something, it's usually connected with you somehow. Do you know what I mean? So when Cockney does his French maids things, we completely understand what kind of a person he is.
Yes, we do.
That's my personality.
you-
Well, because I like things to be cleaned up. That's the important.
You don't know
thing.
half of it.
He's very
You
hygienic.
don't know.
Cockney.
You don't know
Exactly.
half of it, mate.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that
we're
23
saying-
seconds is on the way.
Okay, so we're saying decidedly average, good production, but you could see the rot was setting in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, look, what's his name? The director. He's a really good director because he went and directed what is it? Was it Phone Box? No, you know, the one where it was just set in a phone box.
Phone booth.
Phone booth, and that was brilliant. You know, so
Days of Thunder?
Joel Schumacher.
he knows what he's doing. It's just that he kind of lost the ball on this one, I guess. You know.
And definitely the next one. But there you go.
Yes, definitely next one.
Okay, so
It was terrible.
we'll move on from that.
Oh, right. No, it was all right.
Are we
I
going to
just-
pass? I've not seen it. I've seen clips.
Yeah, I have. I just thought Mel Gibson wasn't very convincing as a Scottish guy. I just thought
This is the poster boy for why I don't watch historical films. There's just too
He's
many
terrible.
historical. He might as well just done a fictional fantasy film called it "I Hate English People" and get it over with. I mean, why bother? You know, he had a girlfriend in it. Yeah, exactly. It just, you know, even the costume details. It was 500 years after they stopped wearing blue woad and 200 years before they started wearing kilts. It's bollocks from start to
Factually
finish.
incorrect.
Yeah, so just, I mean, you know, he's a good actor. He's good at action sequences. He's
Good in
at-
Lethal
and
Weapon, yeah.
He probably single-handedly tried to inspire Scotland for independence, which is what he wanted because he's got a hate vote for the English for some reason. But yeah, basically, he might as well have just done a swords and sorcery film.
He's
Zero
Australian,
out-
isn't he?
He is.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe that's
minus-
why.
Minus a million out of 10 for historical accuracy. Bollocks! Get out of here, Gibson, you wanker.
He might as
Right.
well. He might as well have just made everyone in the film wear those red tartan hats with the ginger wigs, and it would have been more
Exactly.
accurate.
Deep
Yeah.
frying Mars bars.
Oh yeah, and actually, right in the background is that Rod Hall's emu in the background on that picture? I can't quite make
It
it out.
is.
I think you're right.
The chat has spoken. The problem with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
But you know,
Well, I like
when
to
you're an
quote Wayne-
actor,
Go on.
Where else are they going to
you
be?
know, when you're an actor like Mel Gibson and you've come off, you know, Lethal Weapon and everybody thinks you're great and stuff like that, you this happens to loads of actors. You want to prove yourself that you're a real actor, so you pick a project like Braveheart because now you can do a Scottish
He
accent and
directed
show
as
that
well,
you
didn't
can-
he?
Yeah, show that you can, you know, play serious. And the problem with this is that his Scottish accent was really terrible, and the film was okay, but you don't have to prove anything to us. We know where you stand as an
Scottish.
actor, mate. Yeah. So, but you know, that's what actors go through, don't they? When they get a certain amount of fame, you know, and everybody's like, "Oh, you were great in this film, you're great in that film," and they realize that all the films they've done have been kind of the same, and then they you know, they go out the way to do a project that they can prove themselves in. And I think
Yeah,
this
I
is
mean,
the one
he's-
for Mel.
He's good at brooding intensity. I can't take that away from him. But as far as
Much
English
like
Scottish
yourself.
yeah, but yeah, exactly. But I don't have a hate.
You know what?
I
I
like
actually
English so much.
Yeah, go on in.
I actually met Mel Gibson, right? And I'll tell you this story. It was really funny. He went to see A River Runs Through It at Fulham Road, the Fulham Road Cinema in London. And I went to see Steven Seagal movie with my mum, because my mum is a huge Steven Seagal fan. So we went in the cinema, and we didn't know he was in the other cinema. And when we were coming out, he was coming out. And I said to Mum, "Look, that's Mel Gibson." Seriously, he was just on his own coming down the steps. And then my mum said,
I was going to say that.
My mum said he's not as good as Steven Seagal. And Mel Gibson looked at us and he just slapped his hand on his forehead as a joke and walked out.
Oh, that's something. That's something.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. But yeah, because I mean, let's face it, you know, Mel Gibson's Mel Gibson, and I was quite shocked.
Mel's got a Mel. He's 5 foot nothing, isn't he? He looks up to Tom Cruise.
And Australia.
Yeah, but no, I mean, he's a good actor and he's a good director as well.
Are you looking forward to the new Lethal Weapon film if it happens?
Look, I'm a huge fan of Richard Donner. A lot of people, you know, forget Richard Donner's a brilliant director. I'm hoping that if they do make it, that they don't go down the woke avenue, and also they do not pretend that they're not the ages that they are, you know, and play on that and make sure that the approach suits possibly what they can do. Do you know what I mean? Physically,
they need to Cobra Kai it, mate. That's what they need to do.
Sorry, say again.
They need to Cobra Kai it.
Yeah, exactly. They need to look at it in a different angle, but don't replace them with two upshots. Make sure they are the stars, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Make sure they are the stars and they solve the problem at the ending, and make sure that we see them in a different light because of their age and dealing with maybe the same problems, but dealing with it in a realistic, well, not in a realistic way, because Lethal Weapon isn't realistic, but in a way that's kind of
more than Braveheart.
Yeah, well, slightly over the top, but still acceptable. That's the way they should approach it, in my opinion.
And also, to my closing thought on English-Scottish relations, I basically refer to Train Spotting. The English are a bunch of wankers, but we got colonised by wankers.
I was just about to say, I would love to see Danny Boyle's Braveheart. I think that would be a treat.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have seen Danny Boyle's James Bond, but there you go.
Accurate. I'd like to see Danny Boyle with me a cup of tea.
That's why it's called Danny Boyle.
Oh, Danny Boyle, the pipe.
But I mean, yeah, this film was okay.
Yeah,
you know, part of the time there you go.
Right,
two sugars, please, mate. 2 sugars.
Another classic. Another winner.
I was all right. I don't know, because I think seriously, he was trying to top the last film we made, and Goodfellas was brilliant, and this was okay.
We thought Brown and I were talking about it yesterday, and on my channel, and
I heard. That was a good show, mate. I love that. I bloody loved it.
Yeah, because I controlled it. That's why.
Yeah. Thanks to Brown. No, I admit it.
He was raging before he went on, and he was angry.
You say that every week.
No, you were.
Can I just say that show with the two of you on yesterday? I was listening to it when I was out on a run, and I was literally, well, no, not really literally, but because that would have been embarrassing with everyone walking past me. But I was pissing myself when I was listening to it, and I was trying to run and regulate my breathing, and also laugh at the same time, and I couldn't do it, and I almost fell on the floor. And I would have been probably surrounded by people thinking I was suffering from COVID or something. But Christ Almighty, guys, honestly, some of the best comedy I've heard.
It was all right. It was all right.
Banter. But what we did agree on, in between the banter and my clearly deep-rooted anger issues, is basically Casino. We might be in a minority of two on the whole planet.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
But basically, it is better than Goodfellas.
Likes it as well.
Yeah, don't even want to make it a competition. I just think I personally liked it more. I'm not saying it's better than Goodfellas, but for whatever reason, I liked it more. It was just
I liked it more as well.
Just brilliant.
Gorgeous in the film as well.
Yes, but gorgeous, but also top acting. And that's the thing. She wasn't just playing where in Total Recall she was gorgeous, not so much on the acting. With this one, it's both.
Chunky, funky monkey should watch it. It's a great film.
What were you doing in '95, Hunky Chunky?
Just make sure you go to the toilet before, because it's
one thing I thought was quite unique about Casino, which I don't think a lot of people realize, is the narration. Now, Usually, when you do a narration,
Blade
it's
Runner.
usually from one person. But in this
59.
film, it was narrations from a lot of people.
Yes.
And
Oh,
what
yes.
was great,
Yes,
what
very
was
good.
great about the narration was there was a scene in it where Joe Pesci was in I think it was in the desert, and he was talking, and then he gets hit in the head, and
Oh,
his narration cuts
spoilers.
off. His
Yeah,
narration
that's-
cuts off because
that's
he was
meta.
actually thinking that at that moment in time, and it cuts off when he gets hit. So I thought it was quite unique about the film.
Yeah, very clever.
I won't spoil
I'm
it for
gonna jump in.
Hunky Chunky,
All right.
but the end gets me every time. I just think
Cake
whoa.
powder in the mouth.
It just gets me every time. The brutality of it. It's just like, whoa.
Well,
It's
you
very
don't expect
Great film.
anything less than that director, do you? Because that's what he, that's what he does. So
Exactly.
Doing.
And it is based on a true story, so you can't even console yourself that it's just a movie. All this shit, basically 90% of it actually happened. the
I
way
just
it was
think
portrayed on screen.
Joe Pesci in the film was fantastic.
he was.
Is this your pen?
He's always.
Is this your pen? Is this your
No,
fucking pen?
I think this one was next level. It's just for me. I just loved it.
I think
I
he was
totally
really
bought into it.
good in, Home Alone.
My Cousin Vinny, was that before or after this?
My cousin, no, it was before. My cousin Vinny was great in that too.
Yeah, I love seeing him just go nuts and just. You really believe he's the character, don't you? You really believe he's this psychotic sort of guy who just talks with his fists.
Yeah. No, he's retired now though. He doesn't really want to act anymore, but he's a really good actor. Really, really good actor.
Joe
It's a
Pesci is
shame.
one of my favourite ever hip hop lyrics.
Brilliant.
I like my beat short and fat like Joe Pesci. God bless him.
Hunky Chunky should
Coming
definitely
at you.
check
Anyway.
this film out because
Hunky Chunky Funky
you won't
Monkey.
be disappointed, mate.
95.
It's a great film. It's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah, but if you
Well,
want to see
hopefully
Joe
improve your
Pesci very
95
differently,
memories.
you should watch the last movie he made. His character, he was playing the same character, but he was very controlled in that film. He wasn't screaming.
The
and shouting.
Irishman.
Yeah, the Irishman. Yeah, he's really
Did you
good
like-
in that.
Oh, did you like that?
It was okay. Yeah, I watched all of it. I thought it was very interesting, and everybody's performance was great. The special effects weren't too good because you can tell they were old, but
Yeah.
But it's a decent enough movie, well directed by Marty again.
Yeah,
knows
I
what
liked
he's
it. Yeah.
doing. Yeah, knows what he's doing. So there you go.
I think it would have been better if it was put out as 3 1-hour episodes because that's how I watched it.
I watched it
It
all
was
in one
a
go.
long film.
Yeah, it's a great movie though, absolutely great. But
as I said to Cockney yesterday, the thing I liked about Casino is all the supporting cast were all the classic kind of American actors who always used to play mafioso, and it was all in this film. And I just thought it was just fantastic on every level. Plus, I think I probably kind of like Las Vegas as well because I've been there a few times and I just kind of totally bought into it. I just think it's very, very underrated.
I've never been there.
I've been there. It's hell on earth. Worst place I've ever been to on this entire planet.
Really?
Hell on earth. It is Babylon. Horrible.
But it's Blackpool on acid.
Nicely put. That's pretty much
It
right.
is. It's Blackpool on acid.
Avoid.
Swap shop.
The
Anything you want to add?
freaking pilot wanted a tip. Anyway.
I'm just wondering what Las Vegas's pleasure beach is like in that case.
You
See, I
name it, you
recommend the
can get it,
Grand
mate.
Canyon. If you do go there, do go for the Grand. It was the place where people literally went there to watch nuclear tests. I mean, for goodness sake, hey, honey, they're going to drop the bomb. Put your sunglasses on. That's what they were doing.
Everybody should go to see
true,
the Grand Canyon. It's just one of them things. It's like
nobody should go to Vegas.
It's jaw dropping.
Is the
Right,
film
if you go
jaw
to Vegas, go to North Vegas. Yes, it is. I like just all the costumes, the detail, the visual stuff, and also just the Ace Rothstein character. He's basically the Sherlock Holmes of dodgy gambling. He just analyzes everything, and it's based on a true character. This guy, and that's why he was like the perfect manager. I want every cake to have 15 blueberries. Make the cake again.
Yes.
Sir, that's going to take me 15 hours. I don't get that. He was basically a guy that made money from being OCD. He's my OCD hero. Ace Rothstein, that is. And the way De Niro.
Cockney, have you noticed my avatar name? Have you noticed? You didn't notice, did you?
Have you noticed my one?
I noticed Cockney's one, and I pissed myself when I
Spot
saw
me
it.
cock.
I had to mute my mic because I'm just laughing too much.
Yeah, but sorry, my phone's too small or my eyes are too big. But no, I can't
You
read.
can watch it on.
Something-
You can watch it on Rewind, mate.
Okay, sir, something of
It's an
Xanadu.
Easter egg for you, mate. It's an
All
Easter
right,
egg for you.
nice.
Mine's especially for Brown.
I can't read it because you're off the bottom of the screen.
You'll always be swap shop to me.
Demon
I
Side
wonder-
Sith
Squiggly.
M.
I wonder why they call you Swap Shop. I don't know why they call you Swap Shop.
He used it
As
for
a,
one day.
I will
It's
say,
stuck.
as a presenter, Swap Shop is easier to roll off the tongue.
Mm.
Demon size synth wave.
That's a jawbreaker, is that? I don't like saying that.
I don't mind
I'm going
swap
to change
shops.
mine to Cockney Mockney Spockney.
So,
Nice.
are we agreed?
Swap it.
We like it. Yes,
I bet you'll love it.
I like it.
That's my review. I bet you'll love it. I bet the house on it.
I'll give it a thumbs up. I just think it's very,
I'll give
very.
it- I'll give
I
it a
think it's
double
just
6.
very, very underrated. But there you go. Maybe it's
Underrated.
because
One of
it's
those films.
maybe it was
Physical
because it
underground.
was coming off Goodfellas that it's.
It was the
you know,
shadow of Goodfellas.
Yes.
Goodfellas was a good couple of years earlier. He must have made films in between, or did he not? But yeah, no, it's too comparable to Goodfellas, especially with having Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro in it. But no, brilliant. Totally recommend it. Job's a winner.
Final words, Ian.
Yeah, I liked it. I just thought Goodfellas was better, but that's just me, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worth it.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Desperado.
Never saw it.
I did. I saw the original as well.
Selma Hayek. Oof.
Sell you what?
Sell
Sell me a Hayek.
Sell me a Hayek.
Selma Hayek.
Oh.
The woman.
Thelma Kayak.
Yes. Amazingly good looking. She's still got it now. I think
I know I
she's
am, but what
50.
are
I think
you?
she's 51, 52, and she's still got it.
Like Liz Hurley.
Yeah. So, Ian, Desperado, what do you think?
I kind of liked it. I liked it because of the action in it. I mean, obviously, I saw the original, which was the low budget Robert Rodriguez movie, which I can't remember what it was called at the time.
El Mori.
Mariachi.
Yeah, because it was a Mexican trilogy.
Yeah.
And
this
he
one
gave blood to budget it, didn't he? Guerrilla filmmaking and all that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but this one was okay. It's stylishly directed, and the performances are just phoned in. But it was an interesting exercise as far as I was concerned. In someone that never went to film school. Apparently, he didn't go to film school, and someone that is. Went his own way and didn't suck up the sugar from Hollywood. He made a couple of Hollywood films and then he created his own studio and his own visual effects department and stuff.
Yeah.
So every film he does on a decent budget, doesn't go way over the budget, and he creates some really good stuff like Sin City and all the other films. The films that he's made. He knows what he's doing.
Rodriguez, yes.
Robert Rodriguez. This film was okay. I just didn't. Oh, it's not original. It's just okay.
He's remaking his own film. A big influence on Donald Trump, apparently. Really changed his policy. A lot of bad hombre.
I think at the time I
Inspired a wall.
absolutely loved it because it was very, very kind of over the top, and
yeah.
QT was in it as well as he had a cameo, didn't he?
So was Tarantino. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
QT.
QT. Yeah. He was in it. Got shot, did he not?
Yeah. Was it Danny? That big Mexican-looking geezer, Danny.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he's in it.
He's brilliant.
The violence was over the top, and obviously it's got Antonio Banderas. I at the time loved it, but I can't remember anything.
How
about
did
it.
Melanie Griffith snag him? I'll never know.
Swap Shop, you seen it?
I haven't, mate. No, I saw the sequel a few years back. I can't remember what it was called now. With what was it? Enrique Iglesias in it or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, he played one of the assassins.
Yeah, that's right. But I never saw this original. I think it was because I always saw the main actor. What's his name? Sorry,
Antonio Banderas.
Banderas. That's it. Yeah, I always saw him as a bit of ladies' romantic movie sort of lead actor, and I just thought, no. Even the trailer didn't show enough explosions for me to get over that stereotype, so I kind of stayed away from it.
See, they put a big explosion in the background just for you there, Swap Shop, but obviously didn't do the trick.
I just thought that was what Mexico looks like.
I would say very of its
Politics at
time, but
109.
it is very good. It is a good film. It might look a bit dated now, but
The only
I
problem
liked
with it is that he has two guns in his hand, right? And they look like Berettas. So you got seven in the, or is it no, 6 in the mag, and you got 1 in the pipe, right? So he's firing, and he keeps firing even beyond the bullets that he's got in the gun.
that is just over the top, and that's what I kind of liked.
Yeah. So it's that kind of movie, really, when you think about it.
He had guns concealed everywhere, like in his
His guitar
case. Yeah.
Reminds me of Face Off a bit.
Yeah, Face Off is a ludicrous movie as far as I'm concerned. But it's kind of like that, really. But John Woo has a different style to Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez is very different. Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. I liked it. Probably of its time now, but decent action.
Are we coming up to the usual bollocks yet?
GoldenEye. The only thing that spoiled that movie was the music. The composed music for it was absolute shit. But apart from that, film was okay. It was enjoyable enough. And Pierce Brosnan was really good as Bond, as far as I was concerned. So,
that was his first Bond, wasn't it?
Very first, yeah.
Is this the one where he's in a tank?
Yes.
Yeah, was it Prague? Just blowing, just
Russia.
Going over cars and everything.
Yeah, he's driving down the street in a tank. He looks like he's tugging himself off in the turret on the top. When you see him move the car, like this, like trying to wiggling about. He doesn't look like he's actually controlling anything. Like they've tied his hands together and stuck him up there, and someone actually in the tank is driving. That's what it looks like.
I did.
I'm just into tanks, so.
When I saw it again, I did enjoy it a lot. But as I said, the music is the thing that spoiled the film. But just the idea that a tank could screech around a corner, skid on the street, made me laugh when I saw it in the cinema. And I just thought it was such a lot of fun. That sequence was a lot of fun, I thought.
I mean, they can skid about a bit, but not necessarily down the streets of Prague. So, in fact, I should have done my research because I like my tanks. Was it M1A1 Abrams, T-72? Was it Soviet, American? Anyone know? Can we have some tank research, please? If you can get a picture of the tank up, I'll tell you what it is just by looking at it. Well, it me tanks at the moment. But
also, it had a lot of Roger Moore jokes in there, like when the tank smashed through the statue with the guy on the horse, and he was pointing, and as it was driving down the road with the statue on top of the tank, that's the kind of thing that Roger Moore films would do. So it tried to find a balance between Roger Moore and Sean Connery, this film, and I think it was a really good balance as well.
Because I like Roger Moore, but I didn't like the silliness. Just the low point of all James Bond is when you had that repeat footage of that pin shaking its head. That was literally the worst moment. That was the low point of all James Bond. But anywho,
obviously,
I like the girls in it as well. The girls were gorgeous. Sean
Bean as the baddie.
Yeah.
From Sheffield.
Yeah, dies in the end. Sean Bean dies. Quelle surprise.
For England, James. Yeah.
And James is going, but I'm half Scottish and half Swiss.
Do you think Sean Bean's character is probably responsible for that telescope falling apart?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
That would be Mr. Bean.
I think this film is probably more remembered for its video game, the Nintendo GoldenEye.
Oh, no, not really. I mean, it's remembered for Pierce Brosnan's first, and Pierce Brosnan was absolutely brilliant in the film, and also it's a reminder of what James Bond should be now. Q, the gadgets,
BMWs,
looking girls, the visiting different countries and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's it's probably one of the best Bond films.
It is a good film.
It is a good film. You can't really. The only thing you can fault it in is the music. They picked the wrong composer. But apart from that, I heard that they were so upset with the music, they literally got somebody else to add to his music. Like if you notice that the music's very different in the beginning to when it comes to the tank chase, because somebody else composed the music for the tank chase, apparently.
It wasn't David Arnold.
No, David Arnold joined the next one.
Ah,
It might have been. It might have been
Oh.
in secret because if you listen to the opening sequence with the gun barrel scene, it's very electronic.
yeah.
The music, and it does carry on being that kind of electronic kind of tone. But when you come to the tank chase, it's orchestral. It's
Right.
completely different tone to the rest of the music in the film.
I've babysat for Dave Arnold, but that's another anecdote for another time.
Good stuff.
Didn't David Arnold do the soundtrack to The Young Americans, or am I misremembering things?
I don't know, but I know he's.
Independence Day as well.
He did Independence Day. Yeah, that's a great soundtrack.
Stargate.
Because I know he
Björk did a song with
collaborated.
Björk.
Yeah, he collaborated with Björk, and that song was on the soundtrack to The Young
Yeah.
Americans. Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think
Yeah,
that's where he
that I think was
started.
his best work.
Young Americans. That's I think it was one of his first, wasn't it?
Great
David-
composer. Moody kids, though, I tell you. Fucking hell.
David Arnold used to work at I think it was a Do It All in Peterborough or something like that. And my mate who worked
Top
at
trivia.
my mate who worked at one locally said that he worked at that place at the time he worked there, and he was always off like doing composing and stuff. He told me, and as a coincidence, they filmed the train sequence in GoldenEye. Not too far from the place where they were working, and it was, we actually drove past it one time, and I've seen it in the film, the bit where this kind of armored train is coming down this track, and he said, "Oh yeah, they filmed it there. They filmed it there." Like that's the extent of his claim to fame. My mate who worked in Do It All.
But
That's
that's
it.
the swap shop. So David Arnold is our 2 degrees of separation, basically.
Oh yeah,
But, I'm 2 people away from meeting Swap Shop. I've
Blimey.
met David Arnold. David Arnold's met your mate, and your mate's met you. So there you go.
well yeah,
Just
Dave-
goes to show.
and he's got
He's-
Nightmare Kids apparently.
He's a really good composer, though. I mean, if he really did study what John Barry did in the other movies, and he tried to better or try to imitate it, and he did it very well. If you look at the Tomorrow Never Dies, that's a brilliant soundtrack, from the beginning straight across to the film, and all the films he did the music for, and especially Casino Royale, when he wasn't allowed to play any of the Bond theme, it still was the tone of a James Bond movie. It's a shame they got rid of him, really, let's face it.
Knew what he
John
was doing.
Barry, still like John Barry the best.
Yeah, John Barry's
Barry.
brilliant.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I
with that,
never,
John
I never
Barry,
babysat for John Barry, but I did like his music.
John Barry had an argument with Aha for
Did
Living
he?
Daylights. The band members of Aha didn't agree with John Barry's tone of the actual soundtrack.
Jeez.
The actual song in the beginning of Living
tie-in,
Daylights.
yeah.
They had huge arguments over the notes and stuff like that.
It's
And
not
John
exactly
Barry-
take on me, is it? Oi,
Yeah.
hark it, leave it.
Well, John Barry stood his ground, didn't he? So so when you listen to that Living Daylights, you can hear the Bondish
It's a
tone
good theme.
in that film.
Yeah, I really like that one. Yeah, that's like
It's one of the better ones.
like the movie as well. I always preferred Timothy Dalton. He was my favourite.
Yeah, Tim's good. He was good. That's Bond.
It was all right. Not as good as the very best one though. George Lazenby.
Lazenby. Okay.
Lazenby is Bond. Eileen, counter, no argument. Lazenby is Bond. End of story. Move on.
We're all thinking the next Bond film is just going to be a disaster, don't we?
Shakes.
But as I said, I really don't like Craig. I don't like him at all. Personally, I don't think he's right for Bond. Never thought he was right.
I
for
like him. It's just
Assuming it
really
ever comes
mixed
out.
bag. I think 2 of his films are good. But anyway, I guess we're turning it to the Bond show.
Well,
Brook Bond,
let's,
cup of tea,
yeah,
lovely.
assuming that it ever comes out anyway. So
It will come out. It's just that he'll be really
LA
old when he turns up to the
Takedown
screen.
remixed.
Heat. We talked about this a couple of days ago, didn't we?
yeah, we'll do a little. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of
Yeah.
crossover. We can stay with this as long or as short as you want. So
This was a remake of a TV show, wasn't it? Or am I thinking of something completely
No,
different?
no, you're right.
LA Takedown.
LA Takedown.
LA Takedown.
Oh, okay. Right.
LA
Yeah.
Takedown.
It's a
Takedown in
wonderful
LA.
film. It's a wonderful film.
It's
It's
a
well
wonderful,
directed, well
wonderful
performed,
film.
well shot, brilliant photography, great shootout at the ending, good ending. What more can you
Nice
say about
poster.
this?
Good Photoshop.
swap
lot
shop.
blue in there.
You want to add anything?
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema. I thought it was all right. There was a big thing made about Pacino and De Niro being in the same movie, you know, playing opposite each other. And I went to see it off the back of that hype, and I kind of sat there for the entire film, and I was kind of, yeah. And there was that whole sequence at the end when the villain dies and he's lying there and they're holding hands as planes take off. And I was sitting there thinking, am I not getting this? Am I not arty enough for this or what? I don't know. But it just didn't really hit with me. It's like a film like Lethal Weapon hit with me on every beat. And by the time I'd left the cinema, I just felt really satisfied. Whereas this one, I was kind of, I don't know, probably just wasn't meant for me.
Yeah, it's not that it's Lethal Weapon's completely different to he was kind of slightly more
Boring.
realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But Lethal Weapon was an enjoyable romp. That's the difference between them both.
Yeah.
But
This
you
was
know,
an
both films
unenjoyable
are good.
romp.
Cruel Birab says, good film, the robbery shootout.
Yeah, great stuff.
Kilmer was
I
busy
thought-
that year. He obviously
Yeah,
had a good agent in 95.
Yeah, he was busy that year, he was.
Yes.
Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey wants to know if he should watch it.
Yes, you should. It's a long film.
No, I'm going no.
It's
There you
very
go.
stylish.
It's
a
not
long
bad.
film.
It's not bad. You'll probably find
Alright.
it entertaining, I think. Yeah.
I think it's about
It's no
3 hours
7.
long. 3 hours long.
It's got
It's
no
long.
numbers in it.
It's good,
Got
though.
no
It's
numbers.
good.
Should have called it Heat 1.
No, they should have changed the E to a 3, shouldn't they?
Oh, there you
Nice. Nice.
I
Stuck a-
do love that
Stuck a
scene
C
where
at
they're
the
in
front
the
of it.
restaurant.
Cheat.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. I love that scene when they're in the restaurant, and it really does work very well.
But they
They're both
explain
really
the title. Roll credits. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's my takeaway from the film. It's valid advice. Any situation, if you're not into it, get the fudge out. So that, to be fair, the whole philosophy of Heat is my one takeaway from the film. Basically, you can always leave a sticky situation, except when you can't.
And he would have got away with it, but he
Yes.
just couldn't leave it.
That's right. Couldn't leave it.
You wouldn't leave
Couldn't
it.
leave it. You wouldn't
leave
let
it.
it lie.
You wouldn't let it lie.
You wouldn't let it lie. I would have let it lie.
Thing is, though,
yeah.
what I find interesting is that you do sympathize with the Robert De Niro character, but when you look at him very carefully, he was a horrible person. You know, he'd kill people just to get money. It's just, that's just not right. So, you know, there you go.
Mind you, Apple do that, and I still buy their iPhones.
They
Ooh, Slam or
They've got-
121.
I know.
Where
Brown
did
still
that come
buys
from,
Brown still buys their
subconscious?
laptops as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need a new computer from Apple.
Do you hear us, Apple? I think I've just pissed away your sponsorship chances. Sorry.
Cheers, mate.
Moving on.
Toy Story.
Changed everything, that did.
Yeah, it did. It's a great movie. When I saw it, I really loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Thing is, though, plot hole.
26 years old.
If Buzz Lightyear thought he wasn't a toy but a real spaceman, then how come he froze when the adults walked in the room like everyone else?
Yeah, a lot of people say that, right? But it's just one of
Just
those
a
things.
film.
You have to go with.
Leave
Because
it, Spotney. It's just a film.
no, I'm just saying, it's just one of those things you have to go with. It's the law of
Yeah.
it's the law of toys, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I need to go back
yeah,
and
yeah,
rewatch it. I think maybe he was just copying the other toys.
maybe who knows?
Oh, no prize to swap shop. I like it. There you go. That's what we tune in for. Problem solved. Okay, now I
If that,
like
if that
it
was
again.
remade by Walt Disney nowadays, would the
Be shite.
would
Rounded
it be
with you,
very woke?
there'd be a
would it be
Ray
woke?
toy in there.
Would it be
No.
woke?
Unwanted.
Would Woody be a
Ray
different
toy.
colour?
No, the last film was woke. The last Toy Story 4 was just incredibly woke.
Apparently,
You
the
not
next
see
Toy
it?
Story is going to be 1,500 unsold Rose Ticos.
I was going to say
Going
that
on
also,
an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, try saying that with a mouthful of custard.
But it
I-
was the last one was really woke because Bo Peep did a lot of stuff that Woody should have done.
Would he?
Bo
Should he?
Selector
Did
Peep.
he? Bo
Have you not seen it?
Bo Peep Selector.
I've seen it, but I can't.
Rewind.
It was all. Was it the one with the
Craig David.
toy, the antique shop, or
No, that was the second one, I think.
Yeah,
This
well,
one was
start
when
with
they ran away and Bo Peep was trying to
lose their
um,
sheep.
convince him that he should stay and
no?
shouldn't go
But I
back.
thought there was in an antique shop where the toys got trapped or something, and there was a fairground as well. I can't.
Yes. Yeah, it probably was that one, but
Yeah,
I can't remember. All I do remember is that Bo Peep was, taken over. She was basically doing the stuff that Woody should have done. But you know, there you go. That's the way things are going now. So
Woody, should he, did he?
Just bear with me. We'll do a little.
But definitely
Chat.
a game changer with the animation, because that was when Pixar was bought by Steve Jobs of Apple before Disney bought it. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
So at
The
the time,
feature
it wasn't Disney.
Yeah, feature-length version of their Tin Toy animation, I think it was basically. But I loved this film so much. I just adored it, everything about it. And I was desperately waiting for it to be released. I remember seeing the trailer for it ages before, and I just wanted it now. You know, just incredible animation. There was nothing else like it out there ever before, and it just looked unbelievably great on screen, and it satisfied me to the nines. After when I came out of the film, I was glowing. You know, I just got that great feeling that everyone wants when they come out of a movie.
That's what you pay for. Nice one, Swap.
Yeah,
Shop.
it's a good-
That's
it was
why
a-
we go to the cinema, isn't it?
That's why I always went to the cinema to get that buzz, you know. And the second film even topped the first for me as well. And the third film was as good as the second one.
Yes, it was.
The third one was excellent.
It was even a bit
and
depressing, but good.
It was, but in a good way.
I cried at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
I cried at
exactly.
the end.
But you know,
it got me twice, that movie. Number 3 got me twice, and I was fucking gushing in the cinema, and I wasn't not like that. I mean, like that.
Oh,
And I was
25.
tissues under my
Upstairs
eyes, not down my
tearworks.
trousers. Yeah, absolutely. And
you know
honestly,
the animation. If you look at the animation of Toy Story 1, it looks very dated. And if you look at something like that film that just came out, you know, the one with Fox doing the voice, I can't remember the latest one they did. The animation's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So look how far they've come from Toy Story to now.
26 years ago.
right, and I think, and in many ways, I think the sort of more basic shaped look of the original Toy Story and also the other two sequels is kind of more appealing than the stuff they're like Onward, you know. And you look at it, and you just think generic CGI cartoon, and
Less is
look
more,
at you.
mate. Less is more.
Look at this, they're really distinctive. I love the designs and the shapes and the crispness of it. You know, it's like I equate it to video games and. Like years ago, like the early 90s, when Sega made Virtua Racing, and I saw it for the first time in the arcade, and I just saw these like really blocky racing cars running around a track, and they were like flat polygons. And it was really basic, and I was looking at it going, "This looks amazing." And then today we've got photorealistic graphics. Everything looks like a picture. Everything looks like almost like real life, and everyone's raving about it. And I'm going, "Yeah, but you know, it's not like I don't know."
I'm totally with you on that.
It's like appreciating a fine piece of artwork. You know, it's not a photo of real life. It's an impressionist image, and Toy Story is like a moving version of something like that, and done so well. But these geniuses that work at Pixar and worked at what was Apple as well, I think, weren't they? And ILM as well.
Yeah.
But Soul Man, if you look at the animation in Soul Man, it's very, very, very beautiful. The way they portray New York, and you know, do look like they're cartoons. They don't obviously draw them realistically, but they do look like they're cartoons. And as I said, look at the quality of that film, and then if you look back at the first Toy Story, look how far they've come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think back then, I think they were still keyframing their animation, and now it's all motion capture. Everything's going to look a little more to begin with. But I do need to see Soul. Absolutely, do need to see that. Yeah.
I got confused when you said Soul Man. I thought, see, Thomas Howell was animated.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought, hang on a minute.
Nice.
Is there a CG sequel to that film? I didn't know that. What's going on?
They'd never show that film now, will they?
No.
I need to go back and watch that. It's like that's so anti-woke if you think about it. There's got to be like loads of things in there that just absolutely slap our thighs out and say, superb. Why don't you release this now? Everyone will love it. You know, I need to go back and watch it.
Crazy, isn't it?
So, Toy Story.
It's
A
a good
million
film.
out of 10.
I liked it.
All round.
I loved
Happy
it.
memories, yeah.
Yeah, happy memories.
Yeah, five thumbs up out of 3 okay signs.
Such
Nice.
a great film. Such a great film. You can even watch it now, and it's still a great film. So
It is. Yeah, you're right. Usual Suspects.
I knew that was coming.
Cockney Spock doesn't like this film.
Yeah.
Cockney, do you want to go first?
All right, I'll get it. I'll try and be quick because we've covered this. It's just an opinion of mine, and Mega Geek disagrees, so it is just an opinion. But it features my least favourite trope and uses it as a twist, which is why I despise it so much. Now, by coincidence, it came up on the Burnett channel yesterday. Basically, the Rosherman trope. Now, Rosherman's all right, but basically, I personally do like the trope of the unreliable narrator. but I don't like, just my opinion, I don't like filming the lies of the unreliable narrator. It's not a dream sequence, it's just a fib that someone's telling. You can't film a fib. And as Mega Geek correctly pointed out, yes, you can. It's been done 11 times. So you're quite right. But basically, the entire twist is based on the fact that he's been lying. That's not a twist. That's bollocks. And specifically, if you find the director's interview on YouTube, they based it on No Way Out, which is a far superior film. And they had a far superior twist because it wasn't based on filming a lie. 80% of the film didn't happen within the context of the film. It's basically Kevin Spacey's character talking. That's not a film. That's a filmed lie. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Minus -1 million out of 10. Worst film ever. Done.
Fair enough.
Excellent. I really enjoyed this film when I first saw it in the cinema. I thought it was very well done. And I thought the twist at the ending was quite clever. And everyone's performance in the film was spot on. Really, really great. I mean,
yeah, good acting.
Yeah, I mean, little known fact is that who's that guy there? The one who what's his name? He was in the Bond film as well.
The one from The Last Jedi.
Yes, him. What's his name again?
Del Toro, isn't it?
Yeah, Del Toro.
Benicio del Toro.
Was it
the Mumbler? He was brilliant. He got
cast late in the day because I remember.
He was stuttering in this one. He stuttered in The Last Jedi as well. It's the same bloke.
Oh yeah, but the story behind it is that they had an actor, but he pulled out at the last moment, and while they were filming, so they got him in, and
Rhythm.
He realized that he only had a small part in the film. So when they went for the first take, he mumbled all his stuff, and then Bryan Singer said, "Cut." He goes, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Look, if I'm going to be in this film, I'm going to do something that you'll remember me by." And that's how it stuck. So when they were doing that scene in the jail where he says, "What happened to the truck?" everybody was like, "What is he saying?" It's because he insisted in doing it that way. So it became part of the script.
That's brilliant. I must admit, much as I hate the so quite right. There's a lot to love about the film. The performances are brilliant, and especially Benicio del. Thank you for reminding me. There is stuff to love about it.
I'll tell you another story as well, because another similar story. You ever seen Magnificent Seven? So the Magnificent Seven, with Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen. So Steve McQueen was an up and coming actor at the time. And he tried everything in the book to be noticed and to get more jobs. And in Magnificent Seven, he would, every time they were in a scene together, he would take his hat off in the scene. Right. And the reason why he would do that is because when you've got two people on the screen and somebody else does something, your eyes immediately goes to that person. And Steve McQueen knew it, right? Yes. And also, Yul Brynner knew it as well. And one day he did it too much. And Yul Brynner said to him, "If you do that again, all I have to do is take my hat off," which is because he's bald.
Boom.
And in those days, you really want to see a bald person. So once he takes his hat off, everybody looking at him. So so Steve McQueen stopped doing it. So that's the thing. Actors want to be noticed when they're doing stuff. If they got a small part, and Del Toro said, "I'm going to mumble it because my part's tiny. So I want people to remember me," and we do remember him. So there you go.
Chunky says he's not seen it, but he suspects it's overrated. Is it overrated?
I don't think so. I think it's a great film, personally.
Plot-wise, yes, but acting-wise, it's good. Yes, I do appreciate the reminder of there is stuff to love about it. But if you know what the twist is, because I've ruined it for you, then you can watch it knowing that basically the film never happened. Even in the context of the film, it's basically you can shorten it to 10 minutes. Kevin Spacey's getting interviewed by a cop, lying his tits off. And they made a film of the lies of the stuff that never happened. Oh, well done.
Matt,
go and see No Way Out.
Saw it in the cinema as well. I think it was hyped a little bit too much, and I was expecting a little bit more of it. And I didn't know what to think of it. I didn't know what to expect. And I sat there and just watched it right the way through to the end. And then the twist happened, and I barely even noticed the twist, to be honest with you, because I'd kind of almost tuned out. And my mate was sitting there, and he was tuned in. It might have had something to do with the fact we were stuck on the front row as well, which didn't help. So I just wasn't engaged.
Neck.
Yeah, right. And I don't think I was really I was almost in the bloody movie, but I wasn't. My mind wasn't in the movie. And at the end, I kind of walked out going, what was that? And then my mate was just trying to tell me what it was about and the twist and everything. And I was just shaking my head going, no, sorry, mate. No. So I think I must have just tuned out, but yeah, not my kind of movie really. But it did start the whole plot twist at the end thing before M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong did it. And that was just
Nice.
years ago, wasn't it? A few years later, that all started.
Yeah.
I think everyone saw this and went, "Oh, there's a new angle we can have on our films. Let's all set out to do a nice little subvertive twist at the end." And Ryan Johnson obviously started watching all this right back then, and then just combined all his
Who was
influences.
that? Ryan who?
With so Ruin of
the-
Roundhead.
With
Which
bloody
film
Red
is that?
Belly from Game of
Which
Thrones.
film's that? Which film?
I can't remember the name of it now.
Bollocks.
Big bowl of bollocks,
But-
as Cotty said.
For anyone that thinks The Usual Suspects is good, please watch Kevin Costner and Sean Young and Gene Hackman in No Way Out. Like I say, the writer or director of The Usual Suspects admitted that's what they were ripping off. So just go and see the original. Much better.
Well, I wouldn't say they ripped it off. They're both completely different movies.
All
as
right,
far
fair
as
point. All right, I'm
So-
guilty of hyperbole, busted, accepted.
But you know, I mean, they're both those movies are brilliant as far as I'm concerned. No Way Out is slightly better than Usual Suspects, but Usual Suspects has its moments and as well. And
Which of those films is Sean Young in a taxi getting her stockings out?
well, it has that, I guess, that has above Usual Suspects. But you know, I mean, what's his name? Cameron's wife is in this film, isn't she? Susie. Can't
Quattro?
remember her name. Susie.
Nice.
Susie
Bam,
Ames.
bam,
Susie Ames, married to James Cameron. She's in this film. So
By the way, I just got to warn you guys, I'm getting the secret signal from my ex-wife. Wrap it up or you're going to get your head kicked in. So I've got to dip out
Well,
in 5.
we've only got one more film to go, so that's probably a
Oh,
good
perfect.
time then.
Just one film to go, Dips. Ah, okay.
Douche. I've seen it once. I don't think I'd go out of my way to watch it again. But if it was on, maybe. But
yeah,
but Ian, you like it, yes?
yeah, it was enjoyable enough. I think.
Cockney, negative.
Worth it for the performance. I'm going to go and find the online clips of
And
the
Swap
mumbling,
Shop's probably like
basically.
me, to be honest.
I like the name
Okay.
Kaiser Soze.
Kaiser
Yeah.
Soze.
I think the
Boogeyman.
title. I like the title because it's a reference to Casablanca, isn't it? Bringing the Usual Suspects. So I'll give it that.
Okay, we'll
There you go.
finish on a low.
Oh god.
Yes!
Woo-hoo! Come on, the Costner.
That was
rather
just
not.
it was just Mad Max but on water. That's really what it was.
Pretty
That
much,
probably was the pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Look
It's not
at
very
that
good.
Costner. No, his career was dwindling, as was his hairline.
Yeah.
It's got
It's a
Gene-
very
Gene
long film
Triplehorn.
as well, if I remember.
Yeah, it is.
This is like a vanity project for Costner, I think, wasn't it?
But the reason
Yeah.
why it failed so badly is because Kevin Costner insisted on certain things. In fact, he didn't leave the director to direct. He was kept butting in and you know and
Yeah, that was
interfering with
famous at the
stuff.
time.
Do you know who directed it?
Kevin something. Kevin, it was his best friend. They're not
Oh,
friends
right.
anymore, apparently. Or are they
Not
now?
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah, he's the same guy. I think he directed the Prince of Thieves. I think it might be the same guy. But
I
yeah,
think Hunky Chunky needs to kind of broaden his films a bit because he's not watched some of the classics we said
He watched all the
earlier.
shite ones.
And he's watched all the shit ones and kind of liked them and not
This
seen
show
them.
No,
for you,
it's-
hunky
but
funky
you
chunky
should-
monkey.
you know, it's his opinion.
Sorry,
He likes
chunky
this
It is.
film.
monkey.
We're only
You know,
joshing with him.
Yeah,
I
he
know.
likes his film. He likes
We're
his film.
only- yeah.
Of in truth, that Waterworld isn't that bad. It isn't great, you know, but it isn't that bad. I've seen worse films than Waterworld. Do you know what I mean? So, you know,
I like the cinematography and Dennis
Dennis
thingy.
Hopper.
Yeah, it was
Dennis Hopper.
great. He's just great in everything, isn't he? But he was good in that as well. And I did like the moment with the guy inside the ship in that boat who's in there to like measure the depth of the oil inside. And when the distress flare flies down into the chamber, and he just looks and goes, "Oh, thank God!" And then the whole place just goes up.
yeah.
I did like that bit, but yeah, the rest of it was kind of But yeah, I love the way it looked, though. I did love the way it looked, and everything was just very picturesque. I just remember everything being very, very blue. And I just that
Yes.
was a nice image of the movie, I think, and
Yeah.
just just a nice sort of feeling of being on a boat at the on a holiday somewhere, but with a load of murderous maniacs after you.
Yeah.
Standard holiday, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think I've sat through and watched all of it. I've seen bits, but it doesn't interest me.
Blue movie,
Well,
but not in a good
they
way.
lost
3
a lot of
hours. 3
They
hours.
lost a lot. Film. I lost a hell of a lot of money on this film.
Yeah.
And they should only be one person in charge on set. If they
Did his
allow,
career,
And that's Mega Geek.
did his career go down the tubes after that?
I don't know. I think his career was going down before he made this film. I think he made
Went a bit
Dancing.
quicker.
Yeah, Dance with Wolves. I was going to say that wasn't that far before this, was it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's a
so.
great
But
film, that was.
Dancing with Wolves is very racist, though. That film, as far as I was concerned.
Avatar with cowboys. That's what I called it.
But what was interesting was
Nice.
that all the Indians came out, and when they won the Oscar, and they were saying it was a triumph for their race, and it bollocks, because if it was, he would have went away with an Indian girl at the ending. No, he went away with some white girl at the ending. Do you know what I mean? Of the film, the film was very racist.
Plus, it was it's like all Indians are one thing, which they weren't, and they were the tribe that they were at war with. They were apparently misrepresented as just being the aggressors. Where it was, so I think it was the. Now I'm not quite up on my tribes. Was it the Sioux and the Comanche?
Yeah, I think so.
But basically, the bad guy tribe, they weren't the bad guys. They were just two tribes at war. So that was a little bit unfair on them too.
They also had a white actress playing an Indian role as well. I do believe a Native American.
No, that's not true. The white actress was playing a white role because she was adopted by the Indians.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
Mary Steenburgen, is that right?
No, it wasn't her. It was Mary something, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary. But she was Swedish and she was playing an Irish woman.
Mary, quite contrary.
That's the one.
Yep, no, she isn't.
But
Garden Grow.
God, who was it now? I'd like to. Yeah, can't
She was
give me
in
that information, brain.
Star remake. She played the president in the Star remake.
That's it.
Yeah, Mary.
Mary.
In Independence Day.
Yes, as well.
Mary, hard surname to remember.
Come on, Cruel Birab. Who was the woman out of Battlestar Galactica? The president, Mary, and she was in.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Mary Me.
She was in Independence Day as well. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, it was. I found it when I first saw it. I found it really puzzling. I was like, well, if you're going to be championing the Indians, why didn't he fall in love with an Indian girl? He didn't. He fell in love with a white girl.
A buffalo.
And also, they needed him to do stuff. It's just like the one with Tom Cruise where he was the last samurai and he was the last man standing. All the Chinese people got killed, but he was the last man standing because he's American. That's why he's the last man standing. And I found
that just reminded me of that old Dustin Hoffman movie where he's with Native Americans as well. I can't remember the name of it.
Dog Day Afternoon. No, that's not it. Little Big Horse.
That's it. Little big man.
Little big man.
I'm walking my pony here.
Well, they hung him up.
Cowboy, isn't it?
They put the things in his skin and they hung him up, didn't they?
Oh,
remember that scene?
Yeah, no.
It was well hung, not in a good way.
When did Costner do? Costner did The Postman not long after this, didn't it? That flopped massively as well.
Yeah, that was another ego. That was it for him, wasn't it? Yeah,
that was the
last nail in The Postman.
And then Tin Cup, which no one went to see because they thought, why do I need to go and see a film about a tin cup?
He also did the other film to combat Tombstone, didn't he? It was the same story.
Yeah.
Wyatt
Earp. Something. Ever since Kevin Costner phoned in the accent for Robin Hood, I've not been into.
Obviously, he was in Man of Steel as well.
Oh, terrible!
Robin Hood.
Terrible.
Yeah, Man of Steel was not good.
Here we go, boys. Always comes through for us. The chat. Here we go.
Who was the?
Mary McDonnell. See, she was an Irish woman playing a Swedish woman pretending to be a Native American.
Great in Battlestar Galactica.
Was she a Native American, Irish, Swedish woman in Battlestar? She was a Capricorn pretending to be a Sagittarian. Moving on.
Much like yourself.
Exactly. I am a Sagittarian, the most philosophical of all the signs, but I don't believe in it. Neither do
What a
I.
wanker.
Was
Yeah,
Russell
well,
Grant?
look, what?
Was Russell Grant a Cylon? That's what I want to know.
Oh, was he was he a toaster or a skin job?
Possibly.
Exactly. Poor Edward J. Olmos. Everything is in apart
Skin
from
job.
Miami Vice. There's robots pretending to be humans, isn't it? You know what I mean?
So looking back on 95, was it a good year for films, do we think? Obviously, I
Yes.
said we Die Hard with a Vengeance was there as well, and a couple
I
others.
didn't like that film, Die Hard with a Vengeance, for some reason.
I thought it was a
Didn't
bit.
like it.
Was that the one with Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Hang on a minute. Yes, it was. You're right.
Yeah,
But Die
That's the
Hard
one in New York, wasn't it?
Die Harder was the second one, wasn't it? So Die Hard with Vengeance was the third one. Was it really back that far, that long ago? Jeez, man.
Yep.
God.
I didn't like it. I don't know why. I just thought it didn't work.
I liked,
As a Die Hard film, it didn't work for me.
I did like Die Harder.
Oh, yeah, I like Die Hard 2. Die Hard 2
Yeah.
was ridiculously stupid, but it was a lot of fun. It really
Yeah.
was.
What I like about Die Hard is they didn't have to change the title for the German market. It was just Die Hard.
On 145.
That's it. I'm putting my strides on. We're going out for some junk food now. Family trip to I won't give them free advertising, to a corporate junk food chain, because why not?
Is that similar to Mary McDonald?
Possibly. Yeah,
On
it's
145.
typical me. I said
So
no
good.
more junk food. We're having a month without junk food, so we're in there every day because I like the.
Hold on. So you're allowed to go to restaurants? Your restaurants open down there?
Oh, there's no lockdown here.
Summer.
No lockdown. Damn it.
No lockdown. Well, I don't like to rub it in. That's why I don't mention it, because sheer freaking hubris. We had a fear of lockdown a week ago, but that seems to have died down. So it could happen, but at the moment, it's. I know why I'm always complaining about stuff. It's summer. There's no lockdown.
'Cause you
Got a
do it
great
well.
family, and I'm going to go out and get some junk food. No, there is stuff to moan about, but life is all.
Hmm.
Oh, I
Has it
pressed the
gone?
wrong button. Then I'm still there. No, yeah, you wish.
Are you
Go
gonna?
ahead,
Are
sorry.
you gonna, Cockney? Are you gonna depart now? We thank you for popping in, mate.
Yeah, cheers, lads. I'll listen to you
Enjoy
afterwards.
junk food.
I'll be thank you. I'll be listening to what you're saying when I'm not there.
Enjoy.
But, can I just
All
say,
right,
out of
pal.
all the
Thanks.
co-hosts I've ever worked with, you guys are the most recent.
We
Yeah.
appreciate that. You can come
all
on
right.
anytime.
Cheers, lads. Have a
See
good
you
one.
later. Enjoy your
Take
food.
care, mate.
Bye. Bye.
He's gone. Thank God.
Right, we can have a good time now, lads. We can have a good time now.
He's all right. I like him. He's funny.
So that's the film's finished. So yeah, 1995 was a decent year for film.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Lots of blockbusters and stuff. So yeah, I remember, as I said to you the other day, I had the option of going to watch Heat or what was the one with Alicia Silverstone again?
Clueless.
Yeah, because I was very much in love at the time with the girlfriend, and I went for Clueless. But there you go.
I did enjoy Clueless. Really enjoyed.
I did as well. To be fair,
She's really cute in that film.
yeah, I
Really,
really did. To be fair, Clueless was a good film. To be fair,
There were a lot of films that came out in 95. There was Hackers. There was The Net with Sandra Bullock, which I found interesting.
Yeah.
You know, there was the Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, as a whole overall package, it's not great, but there's some good things to like in that movie.
Yeah, there is. But the film I really liked that nobody really talks about on 95 was Sudden Death with Claude Van Damme. I thought that was really enjoyable nonsense, I thought.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen many Van Damme movies, to be honest. I saw Time Cop. That was around that sort of time, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was good. It's a good film.
Time Cop's a great film.
Shame he kind of fell out of grace with Hollywood.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, there were some obscure films. I remember a film called Powder about a guy that was quite powerful. He looked like an alien, but he wasn't. He had powers and stuff. Do you remember that one, Powder?
No.
That rings a bell, but I can't remember it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Gee.
So that
Google it.
film. What else did they have out on 95? Species out in 95.
Yeah, I think it was. You're right. Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a lot from that because because Giga worked on it, and I love anything to do with what he does, and I just wanted to see it for the aliens in it, and I was really let down by the movie.
Yeah,
It's so
but
dumb. So dumb.
she was gorgeous though. I can't remember the girl's name.
Yeah.
She was really nice. What else was that? I can't remember now.
I'm just having a look now.
Trainspotting was the next year, wasn't it? And that was a game changer.
Oh, my favorite romance film of all time, While You Were Sleeping. I love that film. We even got it on DVD because Sandra Bullock's so cute in that film, and it was a really enjoyable movie. So yeah, how could I forget that film? While You Were Sleeping.
I don't think I've seen that one. Who else was in that?
Who's the guy that was in Spaceballs? The guy who played the Han Solo character in Spaceballs.
Lone Star. Yeah. Oh, no, I was going to say Jeff Daniels, but it's not.
Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
He was in it. I love that film. Seriously, it's one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies.
Oh.
So
Mortal Kombat was out that year.
Oh Jesus, Mortal Kombat.
I mean, a lot of people love that.
Crimson Tide.
Yeah, saying he loves that movie. I know because he loves Mortal Kombat. He's going to say he loves that movie. But I went to cinema to see that, and I just thought, oh man, no! I just cringed all the way through it. And I love beating up some video games and that. And I just watched that film thinking, oh, I could have done so much better. Oh,
Crimson Tide.
Oh, I like that film. That was Denzel Washington and Morgan, wasn't it? Yeah. You know, I thought that was a great movie. Personally, it's really at the edge of your seat when you were watching that.
Species, you were correct with that one, yeah.
Yeah, Species. What else was out? I can't fucking remember.
The Frighteners. When was that out?
Frighteners. I don't know when that was out.
That was a good film. I enjoyed that. That was Peter Jackson, wasn't it?
Yes, Peter Jackson at his best, in my opinion.
Yeah. The effects in that movie were amazing.
Yeah. And
there was a movie about the spiders as well with Jeff Daniels in. I can't remember.
Arachnophobia.
That's the one. Yeah.
That was all right. That was okay. It was trying to be like Jaws, but with spiders, but didn't kind of work really, face it. So, but you know, it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at a list and doesn't seem. I think we've pretty much covered most of the Rob Roy. Do you remember that? No.
Rob Roy.
Yeah, I remember that.
The guy that was in Taken.
Liam Neeson, yeah.
Was in that film. Oh, do you remember a film? I think this came out in '95, Nick of Time, with Johnny Depp, where he got blackmailed because they kidnapped his son, and they said you have to kill someone at a certain time. Do you remember that one? Nick of Time?
I don't remember that.
He's getting blackmailed now, isn't he?
Cinema. I think that was '95. I'm not really sure, but that was quite an interesting premise. You know, he's just an ordinary man. They kidnap his son and they say, right, if you want to see your son alive, you're going to have to kill this guy. You know, and you've only got X amount of time to kill this guy. Do you know what I mean? And he's just an ordinary guy, you know, he's no assassin or anything like that. And, you know, so it was an interesting premise, I found. But,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Did we say Money Train? Did somebody say Money Train?
Train? What's that? I don't think I've seen that.
Wesley Snipes, is that right?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Buddy movie, apparently.
Oh, is that? Yes, I think I saw that film. It was on BBC One. I saw it.
They got cast together in loads of things, didn't they? Those two.
Yeah,
they're a good team up. They're a good.
Always bet on black with Wesley.
I love that film. That film was so underrated. Was it? Passenger 57.
Passenger 57 is a classic. It's amazing.
Oh, I've not seen that. Should I go and watch that?
Yeah,
yes.
It's really dumb.
Liz Hurley.
Yeah. It's really dumb. It's got a lot of action in it, and it's got a lot of nice little jokes in there. And it's like Die Hard, but with on a plane, basically. But it's not all on the plane because they land the plane. But it's, you know, Wesley Snipes, if he didn't do all that stupid things, he could have been a huge star.
Yeah,
I mean, he is a star. You know, he was really good because he knows all that martial arts in real life. So when Wesley Snipes fights someone, tell it's him. Do you know
it was so perfect for Blade, wasn't it?
They've done videos about the writer of Passenger 57 and always bet on black. is one of the best lines in cinema ever.
It's a good film.
Videos about that.
I like the villain as well, and I can't remember who the guy who played the villain in that film, but he was quite good. I found, you know, it was a good film, a really enjoyable, stupid film.
Oh,
leave your brain in.
There you go, Matt. In the chat.
Reminds me of, there we go. Yeah, that reminds me of what was it? Steven Seagal and Erica Eleniak.
Under Siege.
Under Siege. Yeah, that was a good film.
Yeah.
It was.
Jumanji.
Oh, the original with Robin Williams. Yeah, I like it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good film. Yeah, I think I went to see it with the girlfriend and my nephew. Yeah, it was good.
I did like. I think didn't Ace Ventura come out that year as well? I can't remember. Is Jim Carrey? Or am I wrong? Did it come out? Because I liked Ace Ventura when I saw it.
Yeah,
I
it was all right.
really weird. I really liked it. I thought this guy's funny.
Do you remember Bruce Payne, the British baddie? He was Passenger 57. He was the baddie, wasn't he?
Oh, yes, the guy with the blonde hair.
Whatever happened to him?
Got old, didn't he? I guess everybody gets old. But I don't know.
Apparently it was Ace Ventura 2. Apparently.
Oh, was it in '95?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I liked the first one. Didn't like the second one too much. Thought the first one was quite good. I don't know. I can't remember any other films. As I said, Powder was one of those obscured movies.
Yeah, I saw that on the list.
What else was out on '95? Maybe we should look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I've just had a look on the list, and I think we've just about covered everything. To be fair,
wasn't that remake out in '95? The one with Humphrey Bogart and Harrison Ford was in it. What was that one called? Was that '95? Sabrina.
Oh yes, that was on the list. Yes, Sabrina. Yes.
All right. I kind of like that film. It was all right. It's a very sweet movie. I got a thing for romance. If a romance film is really good, I think
Yes, same here, mate.
I love romance films.
It's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, for me, it is. As I said, While You Were Sleeping is probably one of my best romance films I've ever seen, in my opinion. But then again, it's a tiny movie. Nobody ever remembers it. Yeah. But Sandra Bullock is to die for in that film. She's so cute. It's unbelievable.
What year was Four Weddings and a Funeral then? That must have been around then.
Was it 95? Four Weddings?
No, I saw a Hugh Grant film, but it wasn't that one on the 95. I think it was The English Patient or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay. But there were a lot of films that didn't make any money at that time. I mean, that really everybody thought was going to make money, and it didn't.
There was Showgirls. That was 1995.
Oh God, that was a terrible movie.
Never watched that. Never watched it. Ugh.
You should watch that. I like Showgirls.
Really?
Shite, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's
guilty pleasure movies, isn't it?
What's his name out of Dune and Twin Peaks? What's his name? Kyle.
Yes.
What's his face?
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should watch Showgirls. It is so shit. It's good.
I've seen a bit of it.
What about Dangerous Minds? Did that come out in '95? As I recall, I think it did, because I only went to see it because of Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle Pfeiffer looked gorgeous in that film.
Cruel Birab says Friday.
Friday with Ice Cube.
Chris Tucker. Yeah,
that's it. That was okay. I thought it was quite funny.
Never did see that.
All right.
Ian, have you watched every film ever?
I watched what?
Have you watched every film in existence? Because it feels like it.
Only about 98%.
Huge. I love going to the cinema. Nothing pleases me more than having a big, carton of popcorn and a Coke and sit there and watch something that's really enjoyable. I love going to the cinema.
Salty or sugar? Salty or sweet?
Sweet. It's always sweet, not salt.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely.
You go to America, you ask for sweet popcorn, they look at you like you're mad. Okay, they're like, what? There's butter there. I'm like, butter and popcorn? What is wrong with you people? But yeah.
I must admit, I have missed the cinema.
I love I used to go all the time. Every month I'd go and see a film, no matter, because I was part of Cineworld. I'm paying before. If a film's mediocre, somebody says mediocre, and I had nothing else better to do, I'll go and see it. Do you know what I mean? Just because I can.
Is there any films with your Cine World card that you've watched multiple times?
Yeah. No,
Go
I've
on
got
then.
to think about that. I think I watched. I watched the last Avengers movie. I think 5 times, because my cousins wanted to see it and they were quite young, so I had to take them. And I took my brother to see it, and I saw it with Keith. The first time I saw it with Keith.
Yeah.
So it's because of people wanted to see it with me that I went to see it like 5 times, I think it was.
Yeah.
But there are other movies as well that I've seen. Like Taken, I saw I think 4 times because I liked it so much. You know. And because I work, you know, because I'm my own man and I'm a freelancer.
Yeah.
If I'm bored, I just go to the cinema. You know what I mean? I haven't got a boss saying where you going.
Yeah.
So I'll just go to the cinema.
I think I watched Star Trek 2009. I must have watched that about 5 times.
Oh, right. I liked that.
Transformers, I think I watched probably the same amount of times. Skyfall, I watched quite a lot of times, probably 5 or 6 times. Yeah.
You know what film? You just reminded me. What film in the 90s? I don't know what year it was, but I bloody loved it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was 95. Was Shooting Fish, British comedy.
Oh, that was with Ewan McGregor, right?
No. That Irish actor who was in Queen of the Damned. I've forgotten his name. He was a really good actor.
Shooting Fish.
And what's her name from Underworld? Whose name I've forgotten as well. What's going on? My brain, it's leaving me.
Fish, what's it about?
It's like a romantic comedy. It's brilliant. There's these two they're adopted kids or orphans, and they grow up to be like sort of scam artists. Right. But they're not evil. They're kind of like cheeky chappies, you know. They're sort of trying to do the right thing, but they're also sort of involved in doing the wrong thing. And they meet this girl to sort of help them out with certain jobs. And she sort of acts as a moral compass for them, and they end up sort of changing their ways almost. And it's a brilliant film. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, sounds familiar. I've probably seen it, but I can't. I'm convinced. Probably mixing it up with the one with Ewan McGregor. Was called Something Fish, where he was telling all these tall stories.
Big Fish.
Big Fish. That was it.
Yeah. No, this is quite different. This was like one of that sort of era of Brit comedies that were around at the time.
Comedy.
Yeah, and the what's her name? Who was in Underworld? Why have I forgotten her name?
Yeah, I know the one you mean. She's very pretty.
Cruel says Stuart
Townsend. Well done, Cruel. Yes, that's him, Stuart Townsend. I loved him in that movie.
Always comes through.
If you haven't seen Shooting Fish, just go and watch it. It's a really, really charming movie. And you guys, if you like romantic comedies, you'll bloody love it. I'll tell you now.
What's it called then? Shooting Fish.
Yeah, Shooting Fish. Really, really well.
So we remember
I wanted to buy the movie as soon as I came out of the cinema. I was just so in love with it. I wanted to buy it immediately. I ended up just getting the soundtrack instead. But the soundtrack was great as well.
Excellent.
Oh, the soundtrack was just superb. It was one of those rare things in the 90s when you used to get like a very low budget, sort of almost indie movie made in the UK. And it always had a soundtrack, you know, and there was kind of this little era of that happening quite regularly. Like Twin Town was another movie like that as well.
Yeah.
You know, sort of some obscure movie that you didn't really know about, and then suddenly it comes along, pops up and really surprises you, and the soundtrack's great, and you end up buying a t-shirt and watching it countless times afterwards and trying to tell people about it, and no one believes you. You know, it's exactly the same. It's like this.
No one believes you.
Speaking of soundtracks, I was listening to Star Trek 3 soundtrack today on YouTube. You know, the score. God, it sounds amazing.
Listen to that.
Oh, because I bought a decent pair of headphones, and my God, it sounds amazing.
Do you know? I wanted to ask you a question, right? Because you've got a Mac, haven't you, Mr. Brown?
I have.
Could you get wireless headphones and make it talk to your Mac?
Because
it has Bluetooth.
Headphones are supposed to do that. Listen, aren't they? Not talk.
Well, yeah, surely it would. Surely it would go through Siri. Yeah, I think you'd Yeah,
I've got some wireless headphones, and I want to know if it will basically connect to my Bluetooth on my computer, because I'm just so tired of.
Yeah, it should do. Yeah, it should do. You just pair it off, and then it's one of them things that you would only kind of you would think it would work, and the logic says it will work, but you'd only know by doing it.
I'll try it. Yeah, well, I haven't even opened my I should open it tomorrow and see if it'll work.
If it's if it's obviously standard Bluetooth, I can't see it being a problem.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we? Do you want to? It's Saturday night. Do you want to finish off with maybe what we're just kind of viewing on TV at the moment, and then just call it a day?
Yeah, sure. I'm watching Resident Alien, as I said before. I love it. Think it's really funny. Has a weird, has like a horrible. It has a dark sense of humor. It's pretty dark humor, and I think it's great. And I'm watching WandaVision, and it had a big twist at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
What else am I watching?
Yeah, the kind of reason. The kind of reason why I said because Cockney's not watched any of the stuff out this week. I know both. All of us have. So mainly the kind of WandaVision.
Yeah, but I get the impression that Cockney doesn't deem those things important, because he said to me, I'll watch a bit of Bad Day. I'll watch 5 minutes. Yeah, it's a real film. And I was thinking to myself, why don't you just carry on watching the rest of it? Do you know what I mean? So
his internet's so shit, that's the problem. He's in the third world with his internet, so
I get the impression he doesn't watch TV anyway. So that's the impression I get. But it's all right, everybody's different, right?
So Ian, what do you think to Resident Alien?
I love it. I recommend it if you're into dark humor.
Yeah. Matt, you like it?
Yeah, Resident Alien is the best thing on TV at the moment that I know of.
I probably agree with it, yes. I agree with that.
Unless you've read the original comic, you won't see any wokeness in it at all. And it's just you can switch your brain off from worrying about that kind of thing and just enjoy it for what it is. And Alan Tudyk's just an absolute incredible performance.
Yeah.
I think anything he's in is just amazing anyway.
Cute girl as well. She's lovely.
I love the girl. I followed her on Instagram immediately. I thought,
beautiful.
She's beautiful. Hit the stalk button now, and she is. She's great. She's. I mean, she's a little bit political on Instagram, but I'm glad to see that's not in the show. But yeah, I just love her on screen. Whenever she's on screen, good lord.
She's lovely.
Alan Tudyk, though, I just in and out of the makeup, he's still great, no matter whether you actually see his face or not. When he's as the alien and he's kind of doing all the mannerisms and he's talking to the kid and stuff, it's just. I'm
very interested to see where it's going to go with the kid, because they're obviously going to end up best mates.
It looks like they're going that way, doesn't it? I think they kind of get to a sort of a hate apex, and then they're going to start sort of finding out things that they like, I think.
Well, the thing is, though, you see where it's heading, because basically he doesn't think much of emotion, he doesn't think much of the human race. But remember the very first episode where he drives away with the girl with the abusive boyfriend, and he just couldn't drive away because he's been affected by the humans of this planet. So when he felt that she was in danger, he just said fuck it and turned the car around and pulled the guy through a wall, basically. So you can tell that's what's going to happen, but they will draw it out, but it'll be satisfying when it does happen, because that's what you want to happen for that character. So
everybody in the chat should watch Resident Alien. Go on, Matt.
Two of you.
If you've got if you've got it's saying 5 on my phone anyway. If it's
we've had good numbers. They've stuck with us. They've stuck with us from the first minute, so we've had decent numbers.
You've got to start somewhere.
We have. This is quality, peeps. This is where it's at. Ignore the big boys.
I think channels always have the best quality output when there's less subscribers. When they get bigger, it goes to shit. So this is the best you're going to get right now. It's all downhill from this point. So get on now and experience the high quality stuff, or suffer later on when everyone else has jumped on and be really pissed off and mediocre. Think, wish I was there at the start, really. But
actually wish I was with Cockney Spot, because he's probably tucking himself into a huge burger now.
Bastard.
Just think yourself lucky you can't post images of what you're up to live streams. Otherwise, we'll probably just get like a banquet of fast food on the screen right now. But yeah, read the original Resident Alien comics as well, because it adds a completely new perspective on the show. It's kind of like a similar scenario, but they've changed a hell of a lot. And I think Robert Duncan McNeil is an executive producer on this.
He's heavily involved. I noticed that. Yes, Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, Paris, wasn't he? And obviously, he's a very clever and very talented guy to be able to get a gig like this on the show and make it as good as it is.
Yeah.
But the original comic is this heavily adapted from the original, and the character who, the alien, is completely different in the comic to how he is in this. And this is the original comics played straight, whereas this is a lot more comedic.
Yeah.
It's almost like it reminds me of the Mask, or the original Mask comics, and then Carrey, when James, I almost said Drew Carey then as well. Jim Carrey was in the movie. I loved the movie, but it was a real sort of jokey take on it, and the original was really dark. And I preferred the original because it was a lot more adult and a lot more violent, and it fitted a lot more with the kind of the happy, crazy, wacky aspects, and the duality between the two. This dark, bloody, like violence with the humor was a great two sides to the same coin. And then the movie came out, and it was kind of like they've really sanitized it, but it's still good. And this is a similar kind of scenario where the original comic's really quite sort of serious and dark, but this is a lot more towards the comedy sort of side of it. You can see the way they've changed it. When I read the comic and then I saw the TV show, I was kind of like, are they going woke with this? Are they going woke?
They didn't know.
Well, I don't know. Compared to the comic, you might, the more kind of.
They took the piss out of it, because on the very first episode, you remember the sheriff? He goes, "They call me Big Black."
Yeah. So because of your car. Yeah. Because of your car.
They obviously
chameleon.
they called the mayor a snowflake, so they're obviously aware of that situation. So they literally playing on it, and I hope they carry on playing on it as well.
I do as well. I think that's the best thing about it. Yeah. Let's just hope it doesn't go down that path.
Yeah,
good point. I did notice that the girl's abusive boyfriend in it, he's not in the comic. That didn't happen at all, and they've added that for the show. And that's what got me thinking, like, are they kind of just trying to assume that they're doing the white man bad thing here, or what? I don't know. Hopefully not.
I like the girl who works at the bar.
Oh
It's got a good supporting cast. I quite like her.
I do like her as well. Yeah, I didn't like the way she spoke to that guy randomly, though. She's like, he came up to the bar and just wanted to be served. Like, she wanted a napkin, and she's like standing there abusing it.
No, but they've now established that they're two idiots, aren't they? Like when she goes to the bowling place, and her friend is there. They're both horrible people.
That's
true. What I mean? So it's not like they did that randomly to a random person. When they started talking to each other, you can tell they're one friends, but two don't respect each other. So they are literally horrible people. That's why. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, they did that banter. Remember, and she takes the piss out of her when the guy leaves, doesn't he? The alien leaves because he thinks of something and he leaves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So
was you sold after episode 1? Because I thought yes,
me definitely.
Yeah,
especially. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I was sold completely. I hadn't read anything. I didn't know anything about it before. I didn't even know it was a comic. Someone on Twitter told me, and I just loved everything about it. I was on the edge of my seat, not knowing what was going to happen next. I was glad to be in it fresh and not be having any of it spoilt for me or be influenced by anything. And that's a rarity these days, to sort of sit there and be exposed to a new property that you've never seen anything of before and just enjoy it for what it is.
It's like with the. I don't even think they've started even scratching the surface with his doctor role and stuff like that yet. There's still a lot. There's still a lot of character development and stories to come. It's early days, but yeah, the doctor stuff is not even started doing hardly any of that yet. So yeah,
the bit where he says to her, so you got a lump under your tit, have you?
Yeah. Yeah, that was
cracking up with laughter.
So
when he was,
it's just like, okay, let's take a look at that tit.
Yeah. So yeah, and as I said, if it was, I hope it doesn't go woke. I hope it stays on this path, because he obviously he's obviously an alien, and he's not a very clever alien either. The amount of things he thinks about to try and kill that kid.
I
Yeah.
I didn't understand the New Mexico bit
New Mexico.
because he
What
was in New Mexico, wasn't he? And he was riding that horse.
Oh,
I thought it crashed in. It obviously crashed in Colorado. But what was the bit with the? Was it? It's the.
with the cow, you mean?
Yeah, there was. He was riding a horse, wasn't he? In New Mexico.
Was he?
And then these two UFO hunters came to the bar where the guy who saw the guy who had his horse stolen. Because
Is this the latest episode?
Yes. Oh, you've not seen it, have you?
Seen it, so,
Sorry, mate.
Haven't seen it, so
Oops.
yeah. So
That's episode 3, mate.
I will watch
Yeah.
it. So,
Matt, you've seen it, haven't you?
I've seen episode 3. Yeah, I don't remember that bit. I'll have to go back.
I
And
don't.
watch it.
I don't understand the New Mexico bit because I thought it crashed in Colorado.
Wait, no, I've only seen half. I watched half.
Can remember a bit smashed off his UFO, didn't it? So the lightning hit and a bit smashed off it. That's why he crashed. So maybe that bit flew elsewhere. Maybe, who knows? I don't know.
I'm gonna have to no, because the spaceship is suspended because it was those the high crew fell onto the spaceship.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
bit
because he's still there.
On the space, was he just floating above it? Because we saw him make an anti-gravity disc, didn't we? Out of all those, and we saw the same kind of anti-gravity disc that was bigger underneath the guy that was floating there. So I think maybe he was suspended in the air.
I think I might need to rewatch it all again.
Yeah,
but I think I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but I think we're in for a good series.
It's a good show, and it's fun. It's very rare that the only other show that I've laughed out loud is Psych. But Psych and this film and this series, and it's very rare that you laugh out loud when you watch a series these days. Yeah. So there you go.
Shall we? Sorry, Matt, go on.
I was just going to say the best thing about Rogue One, wasn't he, Alan Tudyk? The
Tudyk,
incredible droid in that film, and I think the droid should have survived anyway. But he's kind of just playing like an alien version of that, isn't he? Like a he's very almost a very sort of ill-adjusted kind of antisocial kind of individual that doesn't fit in. I think he's doing a brilliant job.
Okay, shall we quickly finish off on WandaVision?
Yeah, sure.
Matt, do you want to lead?
Yeah, I had sport for me. Shakes his fist into the air. No one can see me on Twitter by people posting images of the actor that. So yeah, I did have it sport for me, but I didn't even realise it's sport for me at the time. I was looking at these images, going, "Why are they showing pictures of that guy? I don't understand." And then after a while, it twigged, and I thought, "Oh no, bugger!" And then I ended up seeing the show, and of course, I knew it was coming. But my cousin sent me a message saying, "Have you seen WandaVision yet? Have you seen it?" And I went, "Yeah, I've had it sport for me. I know what happens." And he went, I shouted at the screen. I shouted.
I'll just spoilers for people who have not seen it, by the way.
Did you shake your fist in the air?
If I shouted my fist in the air when I read Twitter, yeah. But,
right.
My cousin, when he saw it, he just shouted out "No fucking way" in front of his two-year-old kids, which probably.
But you should have said, "Why I order." Because that's what you have to say when you shake your fist in the air.
I'll tell you what's spoiling it for me. The wokeness is just seeping through, isn't it?
Well,
especially this last episode.
You know where it's going, don't you? Because she's going to be in Doctor Strange, and the title of that is the Multiverse of Madness. So we know it's including the multiverse now, and then Spider-Man has all the other Spider-Man. The next Spider-Man film is going to have all the other Spider. So it's probably the story's going to go through here, through to Doctor Strange film, and then into Spider-Man. So that's probably what's going to happen.
I just didn't like that line in the latest episode where they had to mention Captain Marvel, and they said, "Oh, Captain Marvel." Captain Marvel beat her. I was like, no, Captain Marvel didn't almost beat Thanos. She got punched out of the movie. She got one hit in, and then he just sort of turned around, punched her out of the film, never saw her again. Thank God. But just stop trying to make something.
There you go, guys, in the chat.
Yes. He not the equivalent to the devil?
He's
in
kind of
Marvel
yeah,
universe.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be someone like a much bigger person like the Beyonder, but maybe
Or
bigger.
Galactus would be good.
Yeah, I think Galactus. I'm not sure he's sort of like enough of a mastermind. I would have preferred to have seen Doctor Doom more than anything because he's like super mind, way bigger than Thanos. You know,
Yeah.
but mate, you know, yes, I don't think it's yet to be confirmed. I think it could be anybody. It could be any one of those, or even all of them. Wow, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Do you think people are going to really buy into this second phase? You know, the phase 4, because as I said to Cockney, I was getting well fatigued with it all towards the end.
I was as well, but once this thing happened on WandaVision, I was thinking, wow, you know, it's going to be interesting because, as I said, if it seeps through into Spider-Man 3, then I'd love to see Tobey Maguire mixed with Tom
Nicholas
Holland
Hammond
and Nicholas Hammond, and also Andrew Garfield. Be interesting, right? So I'm looking forward to that.
I think that would be quite good, to be fair.
I'd love to see Nicholas Hammond in there because he was my first Spider-Man. I remember him.
There's a Twitter photograph of him on set today. Apparently, I saw it.
That was me taking the piss, mate.
Oh, was it?
Did you?
Well, there you go then.
I put another one up straight afterwards about Japanese Spider-Man, and then another one about Spooderman.
Oh, was it you?
And then the one after that, I put breaking movie set scene spotted on Spider-Man, and then it was dead body of Spider-Man underneath with a picture of a movie set flattening him. So you know, it's just got to ridiculous levels now. Everyone's in this next Spider-Man film. It's like,
yeah, but you know, they're gonna be introducing Miles Morales, I reckon, as well. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't mind mine.
It's going to get too crowded, I think. I mean, the original Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi's suffered from studio interference and too many elements to the story. You know, it should have just been either about Sandman or Venom, and that's it.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I fear that the similar thing's going to happen to this one.
But you know what's going to happen, right? Is that when they mix the Spider-Man multi-universe, do you know who's going to be the one that beats the villain? It's going to be Gwen Spider-Man, isn't it? Gwen Stacy
Spider-Gwen. Okay, now.
It's going to be Spider-Gwen that beats the main villain, and all the boys are going to be, oh, we could have done it, but you did it. And, you know, it's going to be completely woke, but there you go.
Shall we leave it on that bombshell then?
It's not a bombshell. It's probably going to happen anyway. So.
Ian, thank you for taking the time, as always, for coming on, mate. You know,
I love
wonderful.
Stuff like this.
You're wonderful,
movies.
mate. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
wonderful. So we do appreciate. Matt, thanks for popping on. You know, something to do on a Saturday night, mate. You know.
Indeed, mate. Thanks for the invite. Always love it.
For everybody in the chat and who have watching live, thanks for sticking with us. This is where it's at. As I said, you're used to the big boys. This is where it's happening now because it's free reign. We can talk about anything. So we appreciate you popping in. Obviously, the usual. Please like, subscribe, blah blah blah. We will see you soon. Maybe we'll do another year with films or TV. Don't know. It's how I feel when I wake up on a morning. So cheers, everybody. We will see you soon.